out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You're tuned to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad in effect with me today. I have got my brother, Neltron, from New Orleans. What's going on, good brother?
It's good, man. Glad to be here, man.
No doubt. My brother, Kel, from Queens, New York. This dude got a hip-hop. He's got every hip-hop record label shirt there is. I don't know how you do it, nigga. But salute. Like, every time I see you, we hung out a couple of weeks ago. You nigga walked in with a profile t-shirt on. I'm like, God damn, nigga. Like, yo, how do you pump these joints out? But he continues to. This nigga hasn't repeated shit yet on the show or whenever I see him. So I have no idea. Me and Neltron was just like, yo, you got next plateau? You got what? You got next priority? Like, nigga, what don't you got? But this nigga got it all. So I can't call it. My brother, my solar dad brother out of LA. What's going on? What up, Vern?
What up, man? Nice to be here. Nice to see y'all. Let's get to it.
No doubt. My brother Vague out of BK. What's going on, good brother?
It's gonna be a good show, man.
I see you. I got my brother Scratch Magazine Gadget. What's going on, bro?
What's cracking? Let's get people mad. Let's go.
Yeah, here you go. Let's piss some people off. Yo, this week's show, me and my guy Antonio, it's like Mad Lib fan account on Twitter. We were talking about Raheem DeVaughn. He had brought up an album. I was like, yo, I don't know why Raheem DeVaughn doesn't get the props he deserves. I'm like, yo, he does it all. He's got all the talents. I mean, his discography is crazy. He does everything. Why doesn't he get the props he deserves? And it got me thinking, okay, boom. We're going to do a show about 5 MCs and or singers who you feel don't get their props, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to try to come up with 3 reasons, if you can, on why you think they don't get their props. So I'm going to set it off. I'm going to just stay in the pocket with Raheem DeVaughn. I mean, here's the crazy thing with Ra. The Love Experience came out in 2005. That's Guess Who Loves You More, You, Believe, Is It Possible, crazy album. Follows that up with Love Behind the Melody in 2008, which had Woman, produced by the late great Chucky Thompson, got nominated for a Grammy. Love Drug, Customer, Mo Better, came back in 2 years with the Love and War masterpiece, was real political, had Bulletproof with Ludacris, B.O.B., Bedroom. Then he came back in 3 years with a place called Loveland, Complicated, Greatest Love. Then he came back in 2015 with Love, Sex, and Passion, with Black Ice Cream, Miss You, I Miss Your Sex. And then I was just banging the day. He dropped this in 2020, What a Time to Be in Love, which is a strong 4.5, 4 and a pass for me. So I'm like, dog, right there from the door, we got 6 banging albums. He's got the political stuff. He's got.
I'm missing one.
I'm missing the joint.
He did an album last year with Apollo Brown.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That ass. You're right. Good look on that. So, and that's actually even another level of it. Like he's rocking with a dude like Apollo Brown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a dude who, in my opinion, is right up there with the Anthony Hamiltons and the Eric Robersons and all of that. But then he's still gonna come. And this is no disrespect. I'm just saying, still rock with an underground dude like an Apollo Brown. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think he's done it all. Like, and the only thing that I could really come up with is that I don't know if Job was really pumping his records like that. He was on Job for the first 3 albums, and then he was indie from that point on. So I don't know if Job was really pumping his albums. I know he's from DC, so me being out here in the DMV, I hear the name more maybe than what most people hear. But to be honest with you, bro, out of all the people I had, this was the one that I was kind of stumped on. Like, I have no idea why this dude doesn't get more love. He does it all across the board. Usually it could be a the scattered discography, not really good songs. I mean, the shit got nominated for a Grammy. Like, so, and here's the wild part, an indie dude like Eric Roberson, I hear his name way more than I hear Raheem DeVaughn. So, any ideas? Like, I'm stuck on just the record label didn't push him. Maybe chicks don't find him sexy. I don't know what it is, why this dude doesn't get more, because he's got the song called Woman. He's talking about how strong black women are. So you would think they'd be behind him. But any ideas on why y'all think Rod don't get the props he deserves, if y'all think he deserves a prop, Vay?
Well, he was on my list.
Okay.
I didn't know about the conversation on Twitter, but he was on my list because for everything you mentioned, right? Like when you just think about the music he's put out, right? Obviously, there's that initial album in a time where, Neo Soul was pretty big and he was another one. So he had a lot of attention at that point. But then he followed it up with some great albums, right? Like you said, some conscious R&B, some straight up love songs R&B, some mixtape
straight sex songs R&B. Like this nigga got some banging ass slow jams.
And he can sing. Like I've seen him, obviously, when I was down there a lot. I've seen him on more than one occasion. I don't know if this brother even warms up, because I remember I was at the Merriweather Pavilion for that annual summer concert. D'Angelo was supposed to be there. This is before D'Angelo came back. So I had already seen Raheem DeVaughn. So they like, oh, D'Angelo can't make it. Crowd like, oh damn, what? And then you're like, yeah, but Raheem DeVaughn is here. Now, to people in that area, it's like, nigga, he's always here. Like,
right. That nigga be on U Street. Oh, I just seen the nigga have fucking on U Street the other day. Like,
of course he's here, right? But man, he didn't give a shit. He came out there, he was singing his ass off. He looked like he was hanging out in the back, and they just asked him to come out and perform. And he did his thing. But his music, like you said, he releases it constantly. It's not redundant. It's catchy. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody in a lot of ways. So I don't understand. Now, the reason why I guess I would say it does happen like that for him, unfortunately, it's when he came out. I think a lot of people who like D'Angelo on another album initially saw him as it's a D'Angelo clone, right? He got the braids and he got the kind of hip hop look. They don't sing alike, but that's what people tend to do. They kind of mix the two because of the image. Right. But at the same time, if you were a true fan of his music and really saw his art, I can't see why you couldn't separate the two once you listen to Raheem DeVaughn versus a D'Angelo. So I think he was just a victim of maybe marketing, because he has the talent. He can create the music. It's just that sometimes when you're playing, the big boy game on the record industry, as far as the major label stuff, you need more than that. You need help from the management team, and marketing team, everything else. So I don't know.
Like I said, it trips me out because Eric Roberson is 100% indie, and I hear this dude's name brought up so much more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Anthony Hamilton. I mean, to me, I'll put Raheem's discography up against damn near anybody's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Anthony Hamilton's name gets mentioned like that all the time. I hear niggas talk about music before they talk about Rod. I'm like, yo, this nigga can't even sing. Like, my nigga, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, this nigga, it gadget you laughing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but, you know what I mean? He's not a great singer. So it's bugged to me because Veg said it. Like, and he can sing. Like, that's the part. Everybody complains about R&B because can't nobody sing, but he can sing. So he checks all the boxes. Like I said, I got nothing. Anybody else? Any other ideas with Rob?
I just think with Rob, like was coming out around the same time as D'Angelo, and him not having that it factor as far as the.
But the thing is, he didn't even. D'Angelo was 96. Rod didn't drop till 2005.
Oh, okay. I got
He already had 2 albums out.
No, but yeah, D'Angelo had a second album. He was much bigger by that time.
Yeah,
right.
I think with these R&B cats, especially some of the neo souls, they're successful and they live. Some of them are successful and live like under the radar because it's a pocket that supports that. like primarily, right? Like the artist, the dude named Kim, right?
Right, yeah.
He doesn't, like, dude is, he eat, and he's like, on certain stations, they play dude all day, but to the masses, you wouldn't hear that name come up. So I feel sometimes they just fall into that little niche where they doing their thing in their world, but it's just in their world, and it wouldn't come up in most conversations like the Badus and the D'Angelo. Some of them broke that mold, but some of them that didn't go big are still eating and being played on them stations all the time. So I think it's probably one of those type deals.
Yeah, because I was gonna say kind of like what Vay was saying, or what y'all both were saying with that neo soul thing is usually I'm always like there's only room for one, but I felt like it was like D'Angelo and Maxwell. Like I think if you think neo soul, those two are like the heads.
Yep.
But then you still had the Anthony Hamilton creep in there because the Coming From Where I'm From came out like 2001, 2002. You know what I mean? So you kind of had heads kind of creep through or sneak through or whatever like that. But I don't know. That was the border. I don't know. My hip hop dude I got is OC. I don't feel like OC gets the props that I think he's supposed to give. Word Life in 94, Jewels in 97, Bon Appetit in 01. I know he's going on to have plenty other joints, but like those are the three that I really fuck with. Like Word Life and Jewels to me is kind of like the whole What's Better, Low End of Midnight Marauders, you know, Mac and the Soul Brother, the main ingredient. I love both them albums the same. Jewels kind of gets it for me. One of the reasons I came up with is he came out in 94. That's Illmatic. That's Ready to Die. That's enough to kind of like knock you out the box. You coming in third place already behind Illmatic and Ready to Die. Not to mention you still had Hard to Earn, The Sun Rises in the East. So you had some heavy hitting albums coming out there. Yeah, I felt like when Illmatic dropped, like damn near any other solo MC kind of had to play the background. Like it was Big and Nas and everybody else. Two, I think with Word Life, Buck Wild wasn't really a household name at that time. You know what I mean? Like I think only like niggas who are hip hop heads kind of knew who Buck Wild was. And I know most niggas don't remember Buck Wild from the mixtape DJ. Like Buck used to have some ill mixtapes, you know, back in the day. So I think that's what dropped. And then I think when Jewels dropped in 97, Bad Boy was running shit. So it's kind of like both of his debut, like his debut and the follow-up just came at a bad time. Like your debut drops the same year as Nas and Big's debut. Then your sophomore drops at a time when everything is shiny suit hip hop, shiny suit rap, whatever you want to call it. And I just think it didn't fit in. I knew a lot of OC fans that didn't like the joint Far From Yours with Yvette Michelle. Like what? They felt like, yeah, yo, bro, I'm telling you, man, like a lot of I think that the once you got an R&B singer singing on your hook, like the backpack would die hard, like, yo, you sold the fuck out. Nigga, somebody singing on your hook, it's the rap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even when we were having the discussion about If I Ruled the World, I was like, I don't even know if it was just a friend sample to me, but it was then you tag that on with Lauryn Hill, who's the biggest artist. It just felt like a money grab. You know what I mean? And niggas was like, oh no, but Nas was growing. And I'm like, then why didn't the rest of the album sound like that? You know what I mean? If that's where Nas was growing into, then to me, the rest of the album, nigga, it's like if I say, yo, I'm vegan and y'all come through my refrigerator, y'all should see all vegan shit, right? It's hard for me to say I'm vegan and then you all come in, y'all like, yo, Kill, you got steakums, you got motherfucking chicken, you got all this other shit, but one salad, like, nigga, like, I don't know if I'm believing you're growing into a vegan and you only got one fucking salad out in your whole refrigerator. So, but yeah, I love Far From Yours. I thought it was a banger, but, you know, a lot of people I know were like, and it's funny that 97 and 8 years, yo, those some hard years because I know niggas who was like, yo, I never listened to Stakes Is High or J. Rule's second album because they was hating. And then I know other hip hop heads who were like, yo, I never heard Bass album or somebody else's album because that was that radio shit. Like there was a wedge, there was a wall that went up in hip hop in 97, 98, and it's like some were on this side, some were on that side. Because I'm like. Yeah, like you had the anti-get niggas like, yo, fuck that club. I don't go to the club, nigga. I chill in the crib and smoke blunts. And then you had niggas who was like, nah, fuck that. I'm at the club. I want somebody to shake their ass to. I ain't listening to that goddamn, you know, that boom bap shit right now. So I just think that's the thing for OC. So for me, it was you coming out 94, 2, you know what I mean? Jewels dropping when, you know, fucking Bad Boy ran shit. And, you know, 3, Buck Wild just wasn't that big name. Because for Jewels, I mean, he had 3 Primo bangers on there, War Games, and My World, and the Beat Miners was on there. It felt more the producers. It was like, okay, you got Lord Finesse, you got Buckwild, you got Primo, you got the Beat Miners. The names were kind of a little bit heavier, but we said Gatch?
Showbiz.
Yeah, Showbiz was on there, so it felt like a more heavier album, but I think it kind of just got lost because niggas was playing All About the Benjamins fucking 15 times in a row at the club, and it was a rap after that.
I'm glad you said that, because when it comes to my turn to pick, I'm going to roll into what you just said.
All right, no doubt. Now, Tron, what you got, brother, for your first joint?
For my first hip hop, I got my man from Ultramagnetics, Kool Keith.
Okay.
So nobody talks about this dude. Yeah, Critical Beatdown, one of the best hip hop albums. Then he took a break and he came with Dr. Octagon. I think the first time I got back on Kool Keith was when he did the Black Elvis. He just kept, what intrigued me about this dude was he kept changing. He had Dr. Octagon, then Dr. Octagon got killed by Dr. Doom, then he had Black Elvis, then Matthew, then Sex Style. So I know why people overlook Keith, because he's weird as fuck. I mean, he's out of space. He'll battle his own self. He wears these wigs and he does. I saw him in concert down here in New Orleans once, and the dude had on Michael Jackson gloves, purple glittery ascot, and like some sunglasses on. It was like 10 at night. So I'm like, this guy he's different. You know what I mean? And he did an album with Ice-T called Analog Brothers back in the early 2000s. So Kool Keith is a guy that's I think that's why he's overlooked, because he's always changing his persona up so much. Yeah, that's who I picked for hip hop. All
right.
For my R&B, I got Eric Benet.
Okay.
I think people most recognize him for messing with Halle Berry and not wearing shoes and socks. So I think that outshines his. He can sing. The brother, his first album, For Myself, is amazing. It got femininity.
Yeah. This joint right here, me and Bake talk about this joint.
Yeah, that one right there.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Very good album. People don't talk. I don't see people on the timeline talking about Eric Benet. I think Roy Ayers is on that album that you just showed, Kill.
Yeah.
Michelle Ndiggelcello's on there. Tamia's on there. His third album, Hurricane, was pretty good. So that's my R&B pick right there. And I don't know why people overlook him, but he's a dope artist.
I think you open with it. I think that's.
Oh yeah. The Halle Berry thing.
Oh yeah, that's totally it.
Yeah.
It's why that the cancel culture was out like that, because I felt like it was like, yo, you're divorcing Halle Berry and you want to take alimony? Nah, we canceling you, nigga. And it's like, god damn, like word, like because of that, like.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny when they got divorced because he had a sex addiction. I'm like, the nigga married to Halle Berry. What the fuck you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, he got a sex addiction. His wife Halle Berry. What you think going on?
Right. Yo, here's the wild part, man. To quote one of my favorite MCs, not anything he does else but MC, Joe Budden. Show me a bad bitch, I'll show you a nigga who's tired of fucking her. One of my favorite quotes right there. Show me a bad bitch, I'll show you a nigga who's tired of fucking her. Because it's like, just because Halle is bad as hell don't mean she a freak. You know what I mean?
I don't know why you messed that up.
What's up, babe?
Always got this ain't a Vegas Truths hip hop story.
What? Tell me, tread lightly, bro. Tread lightly.
Right.
Tread lightly.
But rest in peace to the comedian Patrice, because he said that. That's his line.
Okay, that's his line. Okay, all right.
Because I remember when you said it, I was like, man, this nigga's right. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right, true. Shout out to Patrice. I didn't know. I just heard it in Joe Budden's, and I was just like, yo, that's an ill line, because niggas be like, yo, how you cheat on her? It's like, dog, you don't, just because she bad don't mean she's satisfying your needs. You know what I mean? Like Chris Rock said, if your man a little crazy, need a blowjob every other day, like that nigga ain't getting his medicine, so obviously Halle wasn't giving my man his medicine, and that nigga was a crackhead, and he wanted that quick turnaround. And Halle was on, she in Africa shooting over here, she doing a James Bond movie over there, and it is what it is. I think that's messed up though. That the cancel culture is that bad. That it's like, damn, like we just gonna erase you from, history. Like I felt like that happened to the boy Robin Thicke. Like I felt like after the whole Marvin Gaye thing and the Paula Patton thing, it was like, all right, he's done. And I'm like, yo, y'all motherfuckers really don't play. Like, you piss off Black Twitter and it's like you dead. Like, and you never come back. But I think Eric to me kind of falls into that Raheem space of maybe Neo Soul is the one place where you can have a couple of people, but that's it. Like there's 2 to 3 people and then the rest of them on the outside. Like I feel like it's Jill, it's Erica, and then everybody else. You know what I mean? So it almost feels like it's not enough room on this. It's like a 2-seater. Like we got a 2-seater going to the party, and it's like, nigga, it's only 2 seats. Because Eric Benet to me his name does deserve to be mentioned much, much more than what it does. Vern, what you got up next, bro? Who you got for your first joint?
All right, I'm gonna lead it off with Rapsody.
Okay.
I think Rapsody is not just one of the dopest female MCs, but one of the dopest MCs, period. I really got into her in the She Got Game. That was like 2013. And then it was the Layla's Wisdom, and then that Eve, the last shit she dropped that really sold it for me. Like this, she don't come to play at all. And with the females, I think she's pretty much overlooked because she's from North Carolina, and she don't twerk and show off her body and none of that shit. You know what I mean? So that's how they pretty much pigeonhole the female MC. They kind of pushing for that shit, and if you're not doing that, you're not gonna get the right look. But I think Rapsody, and for my R&B pick, even though people know her, I was noticing during the poll when people was doing a lot of the hypothetical verses challenge, nobody brought her up. And I think her debut, Fantasia Barrino, I think just pure singing talent, there's not a lot of people that can rock with her. And her debut album is special to me. And I just don't hear her name enough.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Antics too, like the marrying the dude from T-Mobile and all the reality shit.
She married a boy from T-Mobile.
She was the nigga had a whole family and shit. She trying to stole the nigga, and the nigga worked at the T-Mobile store.
Wow.
I really am out to cut. I had no idea. I'm like, she married a nigga from T-Mobile. Like,
Kev, you heard her?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was back in it was a couple maybe like 8-9 years ago, but yeah, she got the nigga off the sales floor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. That's yo, the reason why I'll say this too. This joint right here, the Side Effects of You, this Fantasia album, very, very, very dope album that nobody talks about. I think one of her things too, and I don't know if it was a gift or a curse, was that whole American Idol shit. You know what I mean? Like, it got you on, but I don't know like why she couldn't hold on. I know she had that song Baby Mama or something like that, and the hoods loved that. They was playing that in my hoods all the time. You couldn't go through Southeast without hearing that. But yeah, don't pause with that. And then two, now trying back to your Kool Keith. That's a good joint too. And I ain't gonna hold you. I stopped fucking with Keith after the second Ultra album because he was just too, like you said, he was too weird for me, bro. I was like, but during Critical Beatdown, I felt like, yo, this nigga's like from the future. Like him and Said G, I felt like they came back from the future. They was not, Said was making beats that were not sounding like 1988. I mean, when you think about Funky and that piano riff that Dre used for California Love like 20 years later after they used that for Funky, like I felt like both of them were like back from the future. Like it was, this is for my old school wrestling heads. There was this wrestlers called the New Breed, and their whole thing was we're from the future. We came from the future back in time to wrestle nowadays, and that's how I felt about Said and Kool Keith. So don't pause with them. Vay, who you got for your first joint?
I got I had OC.
Okay.
For the same reasons you mentioned, but also his work, his later work. Same Sun, Same Moon, which I thought was a
Trophies.
dope album. You know, Trophies with Apollo Brown. He's just been so consistent, and he just never really gets mentioned, or he gets mentioned for his moment in hip hop, right? Which is the one song from his debut album. You know what I'm saying? It's really only the heads that bring up Jewels, But then even some of those people don't check for the newer stuff. And when you listen to the newer stuff, it's not dated at all. And I think it says a lot about him and his style, because when you listen, he's not that different than he was from back then. But I think it's his content and how I don't know, he's kind of like been a grown man since day one with the shit he talks about, you know what I'm saying? And how he conveys it. But I think it's what you mentioned, right? It's the fact that probably his first two shots at being big, there was just too much out, and people had to choose, right, between some of that early classic stuff. And then when he comes back, rap is transitioning, and niggas is making money. You know what I'm saying? And he did right by trying to make an attempt to get in that lane, and I thought that was dope for him, right? It fit him. He didn't compromise his style. But it was just too many shiny suits. They couldn't see him. This fucking suits blinded them. So they couldn't see him. So, but yeah, man, I think it was dope that he like all the content he does. I still check for him now if he has a new album coming out. I'm looking out for it, but I just never see a lot of people talk about him or even mention his music unless it's ahead. So.
Right. Any R&B, or are you just tapping out with O?
Yeah, because I didn't like double up on them. All right. So I have 4 more, and I have B in there though. All right, no doubt.
Let me tap in just to reiterate what both of you said. With OC, which is one of my favorites too, Vegas, 94. I think in that era, that freshman sophomore thing was really, really big, and he didn't get off the runway. You know what? Warren G dropped his debut in 94. You had To Cal in 94. You understand what I'm saying? You had I think Hard to Earn was in. It was a lot. Pete Rock and Sell Smooth, Main Ingredient, 94. The Diary, Scarface, 94. Come on, man, it was a lot. Common, who I think the Resurrection was probably my favorite coming out, 94. J. Rue, it was a lot. And he didn't get off the runway. So when the sophomore came, if you weren't checking for the freshman, you weren't checking for the sophomore. Right. So he was speaking to win by then. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. He just got engulfed in a fucked up year. For him, it was a great year for hip hop. It was a terrible year for him to come out.
Right. Yeah. It's like you being
they had bigger budgets. Everybody had bigger budgets and everything. He wasn't even on a power label, if I remember right. That was like, it was just a bad timing.
Right. I mean, it was bad timing and it was wild pitch. I was gonna say it's almost like you getting drafted that year. You getting drafted in '96 with Iverson, Marbury, Nash. Like, think about that. Steve Nash went like 8. You know what I mean? Like, that nigga went 8. You know what I mean? Kobe went 11. So, it, like you said, is that. But then I also think, again, I think that Buck Wild name because, he's on Wild Pitch. The Sunrise in the East, that's on Payday. They're equal labels, but Primo did the Sunrise in the East. So you got that's why I was saying Buck Wild wasn't a big enough name to pull you in to kind of be like, I guarantee if OC was part of the Gangstar Foundation, I definitely think more people would have listened to his debut album just off of Primo produced it. You know what I mean? So I think, again, that's why I was saying Buck Wild wasn't a big enough name to draw you in. Because keep in mind, we've been hearing J-Roo from Daily Operation. We hearing him on Hard to Earn. Then you come with Come Clean. Nigga, I knew shorties at Morgan who ain't even like hip-hop who like Come Clean because the beat was so crazy. You know what I mean? But like Vague said, if you're not talking about Time's Up, that's about it. Like, that's kind of like where most people end with OC's legacy is, his verse on Time's Up was credible. And it's not even a whole song. It's just that first verse of, you like the minerals. Most people don't even talk about the second verse. It's just literally the first verse. And we good. Like, okay, that's it for OC. And it's like Vague said, he's got a legacy so much more. But, again, just bad timing. Like, maybe if Word Life came out in 93, a year before Nas, and maybe if Jewels comes out in 96, before the Shiny Suit, like a year can mean a lot in hip-hop. Like, that can sway the whole pendulum in a different direction. But being a solo lyricist coming out the same year as Nas and Big, nigga, you coming in third place. Like, you just are. Ain't really nothing you can do about that. Cal, who you got for your first joint, guy?
You know I'm gonna go to Queens.
I know.
Kool G Rap.
You don't think Kool G Rap gets the props he deserves?
Nah, I do not.
Okay.
I only say that because, you know, I'm not on Twitter like you guys, you know. But I always say, like, you know, top 10 or top 5s. His name is...
You're right.
You know, always, obviously, people of our era would say Kane or Rakim, KRS, LL, Q, Scarface. Then you got Jay, Nas, Pac, of course. But G-Rap, I think, always gets lost in it, where, you know, everybody respects him. Everybody, you know, you bring him up. If people don't mention him, they'll say, oh, yeah, G-Rap. But I think you even look at his catalog. I was even talking to someone, we were just talking about Kane, and I love Kane is in my top 5. I'm like, G-Rap's catalog is better than Kane's, in my opinion.
I mean, shit, Kane only got 2 good albums. So, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
like across the board.
You know? But I'm like, I think he gets lost, and I think his list has a lot to do with it. You know, with people, you know, obviously not as clear as the clarity that can't rest. You know, so when you listen, I think also just his image and, you know, just being on culture with Kane. Kane's a sex symbol. He's gonna get lost. Kane is lyrical, of course. So I think just those 2 things, and then I think just the Cold Chillin'. Cold Chillin' is, as you know, the book. This is a mess up label. So I think just the way they promoted people, or not promoted people, I thought that, yeah, I always think he gets lost a lot. And I'm even, you know, I tweeted out the video what LL brought about this past weekend at his Rock the Bells concert. And people like, I'm reading comments like, oh, I didn't know who he was. People weren't rhyming to the lyrics. I'm like, who the riches? I mean, come on. So it was just kind of point in that aspect. So, you know,
you know what? I see what you're saying, because I recently shifted my top 10 list and G-Rap got in there. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. I think I hear more about G-Rap being influential to a lot of MCs. Like, they'll be like, oh, he's Pun's influencer. He's Nas. I hear people always pull like, yeah, G-Rap. People got their style from G-Rap. But you are right. I seldomly ever hear his name in top 10 lists. And I mean, I think, like you said, it's that marketing, because Kane was the sex symbol. Kane was the cool ass nigga with the sex symbol. You know, Biz was kind of the funny dude picking boogers. And it was like G-Rap was the gangster, but I don't know if gangster was really the shit at that time. And then I know he lost a lot of people when he did the West Coast album for his 3rd album. No doubt. And he went out there with Sir Jinx.
And DJ Cool, that shit was fire.
No, I liked it, but I know a lot of East Coast heads was like, why you doing the flip of Cube? Like, Cube came out here, why are you going over there?
Maybe that's
I think he never had the hit. He just never had the big record. He had the story. He checked all the boxes. He was lyrical. He had storytelling. I think the list actually worked for him because it made it a little more interesting. But he never had that record. Like, we got our fan favorites, of course, as we heads, but he doesn't have a record you can throw out that's universal to anyone and be like, yeah, I remember that. And a lot of people got at least one. He don't have one.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, Kel, that you saying in Queens, niggas didn't know Road to the Riches, because that would be my go-to. Like, if anybody says something about G-Rap, I'm like, come on, Road to the Riches. Or at least Ill Street Blues with that up on the way clown. Take that with you.
Yeah, but
his features are amazing too. I mean, the Mobb Deep, the realest came on this morning. I rewound that his verse like 5 times. He said something about the organ's playing in the background. Our movie organ shifter. Oh man, G-Rap.
Yo, bro, his verse on Stick to Your Guns with MOP on Firing Squad was crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny, Kel. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I would have never thought that G-Rap. But you're right. Whenever I hear people talk about him, it's always the influence. It's not him. It's not like, yo, he was dope. It's just all these other people who are dope were influenced by him.
I even think of Jay when he said, I'm like G-Rap in his prime. And people are like, why are you referencing him? Even back then when that's the one, I'm like, he's G-Rap. Come on.
Yeah. But I think
I'm glad. Sorry. I'm glad Kel brought that up, because when you think about a Rock the Bell show that's like covers his era, and LL got to bring him out, and people aren't rapping to G Rap stuff.
That's a problem.
That's
a problem.
He might be the ultimate slept on legend ever known. Plus, niggas the crowd in hip hop fan. If you ask me,
there was some of that too. There was some of that
right.
too. Right,
because if I'm sitting there, LL bring G Rap out, you put the camera on me, see how I'm I'm like, oh shit, G Rap here, like, you know what I'm saying?
And you're right, Vegas, because when I posted the video, people were like, oh, I would have passed out about that G Rap. Like, yo, yeah, I'm like, I'm losing it.
But I do think it goes back to what Vern said too. We love Road to the Riches. Again, here's the thing that I've realized. Up to a point, at our age, in our age group, if you were hip hop, if you were our age, you fucked with hip hop. But that doesn't mean you were ahead.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, even because the girls love Big Daddy Kane. So see, that drew them in. So if you play Ain't No Half Steppin' at homecoming, I guarantee you the girls are gonna be rhyming right along with it. You play Road to the Riches, nigga, they may stop. The whole groove may, you throw Ain't No Half Stepping on, everybody smiling. You throw Road to the Riches on, it's gonna be a couple of niggas like, yo, when I was 8 years old, I realized, and everybody else is gonna be off to the side. You throw on this a demo. Again, ain't no girls gonna be like, they gonna be like, what's this? No disrespect to any women. I'm not saying that no women wouldn't know that. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, the regular person probably wouldn't know that. So that is a good point, Vern, because even off the second album, Streets of New York, like, that wasn't a big song. Even Ill Street Blues, that's probably his biggest record right there, and that wasn't even that big.
That's a head record still. It's still for the head.
Yeah. Right. So, nope, that's a good point. Gash, who you got up, man?
For my MC, I'm gonna get some hate. For this. And a lot of laughs. Sheek Louch. To me, Sheek Louch is so underrated. If Sheek Louch was not in the Lox would be a boring ass rap group, 2-man group. I'm not gonna lie, you get lyrics for days, but you ain't get no excitement. Look at all the songs Sheek Louch is first on, and that you know the lyrics to: Reservoir Dogs, The Benjamins, Money, Power, Respect. Come on, man. Get At Me, Dog. If he wasn't on Get At Me, Dog, it wouldn't have been a hit. Like, people, I know, Jada is immaculate. Jada's immaculate. Let me talk to the camera. Jada is Styles P is great.
That nigga did the Herb Gotti. Is this my camera right here? Is this my camera? Okay, this my camera. Ashanti, you not getting shit. Okay, there you go.
Look, without Sheek, the Lox wouldn't be where they are.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be where they are. Like, who's gonna say D Block at all the shows?
D Block.
I agree. I'm
not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
He grew though.
He is overlooked. He is overlooked.
He grew. You can tell he fought to get where he at too, because he knew he heard the chatter. He knew who everybody was paying attention to. But over the years, he grew. And when he dropped that Silverback Gorilla solo, he kind of let them know, like, I'm here now. You know what I mean? And then the motherfuckers is huge. Like, who gonna say something about that dude? Like, I ain't got shit bad to say about Sheek ever.
Here's the funny thing, bro. It reminds me of the OC thing. Like, you're in a rap group with Jada and Styles. You're gonna come in third, but it's not a bad third. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a negative, like, damn, nigga, I'm coming in third place. I was never the biggest Sheek Louch fan at first. Then I heard this. He's got a joint on here. The Lox got this joint called The Essence.
Yeah.
And Sheek bodies his verse. And Kiss bodies his verse. Like, Kiss goes first. That nigga ends it with some calmate, et te calmo, motherfucker. And then he breaks that down like, that means calm down before I calm you down. And then Styles come in, but Sheek, yo, that nigga kills it. That nigga like, yo, don't make me have to give it to a nigga I played with in the sand. The West Coast barely even know the name of our band. Like, I was like, God damn. Like, yo. So yeah, definitely. This is the one that put me on the Sheek. So I ain't mad at that at all. That he's definitely
he kills every feature. He kills every feature he's on. Like, whether he's with the Lox or he's rapping with somebody else, he kills his features. Like,
yeah.
His verse on the Benjamins, like
Yeah,
I had
I
that
crazy.
Def Jam game or whatever, you know, when you rap to the lyrics or whatever. So,
Right.
you know, I've known the lyrics forever, but I'm rapping Sheek's lyrics. I'm like, yo, this shit kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah.
people don't pay attention to him because of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Shit,
To me, Sheek is almost like how I tell niggas about Scottie Pippen. Like, niggas be acting like Scottie Pippen was just aight. I mean, I guess playing next to Jordan, you just look aight, but nah, nigga, Scottie was a monster out there. Like, please don't think he was top 50, like, on some old tag along to Jordan, but it's like playing next to Jordan, yeah, you just look like you were aight, but nigga, don't get your eyesight fucked up. Like, same thing with Sheek. Like, you rapping next to Kiss and Styles. I respect the Lox. Just this, we may need to just do a show on the Lox, just giving them they flowers, because like Jada at first was just it. He was the star, and then in comes Styles. It's like now niggas feeling Styles, and here comes Sheek, and now niggas feeling him. I'm like, just as a group, and they still cool. They still rock with each other. Like,
that part,
yeah, like that right there in itself. I remember way when Versus first started, before that Dipset shit, and they was like, yo, we battle anybody, but they still got to be together. Like they was like, that's our thing. Like, we want to battle at somebody who's still here, who still fuck with each other type thing. So, and we all see the what they did to Dipset, which is legendary. To me, that right there is a piece, an important piece of hip hop history in the 2000s. You know, that, and there's not a whole lot of them that I can put up there in such an echelon. But that night, that night, the Lox
songs for the business.
Yeah, like
famous last
night,
words.
That night right there, like, I don't think we'll ever get a versus better than that. Like, I mean, Kiss just, I mean, it was hip hop beauty. It was hip hop beauty. You got a R&B do gadget, or you saving that for next go round?
Yeah, no. So my R&B, I have a producer.
Okay,
but he started out in rap, but switched to R&B and gets overlooked every time.
Okay.
KG from Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, Jean-Nic.
So overlooked.
Yeah.
Like, he went from Naughty by Nature to and Milkbone to Jeanne, Next, RL, Deborah Cox.
Don't forget Coffee Brown. Don't forget Coffee Brown.
Like, nobody talks about this dude. And what you were saying about all the, you know, slobbering and knob pulling on these, you know, the big name producers. Like, I'm a Premier fan, but I don't romanticize the producer. You know what I mean? I like the music that KG does. I put him right up there with Primo and P Rock. He might even be more versatile. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the chance to work with these R&B artists.
Right.
But,
he pulled it off so well that I didn't. Yeah.
He did the youngsters. What's the joint he did for the youngsters that I love?
Cruise Pop. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing: if you really want to talk about KG from a producer standpoint, when we look at it, everything you're saying is 100% on point. Because one, he was able to make songs like OPP, you know, Ghetto Bastard, that was very radio friendly. You know what I mean? Ghetto Bastard is still a crazy beat right now. You know what I mean? Hip Hop Parade. He was able to do those songs. Then he was able to come back and do Cruise Pop, Time to Flow with D Nice. People forget about Time to Flow with D Nice. That song was hard as shit too. Then
Uptown Anthem.
Oh yeah, Uptown Anthem. Uptown Anthem. Uptown Anthem.
Yeah.
So we're already in two lanes. He's done the radio single lane for your group. You've done these incredible hard street songs, and now you come over here and do the R&B. That joint, Jaheim, what was it? He's in the car wash. He takes dude's whip.
Yeah.
It was Jaheim's first single. That was crazy. To put my woman first. The joint with Jaheim working at the car wash and he take dude whip for the ride. I forgot what the name of it was.
Can it be or something like
Can
that?
It Be? That shit was hard. That joint, Put Your Woman First. They used the same sample Alchemist used for Dilated. Worst Come to Worst. That was crazy. Yeah. So again, everything Gad is saying is spot on because not too many producers can give you radio-friendly singles, hood bangers, and do R&B.
Don't forget Next.
Yeah, Next.
Next.
I mean, yeah.
He did Butter Love, right?
He did the whole album.
Love? Yeah.
Like Next album was out of here when they came out.
Yeah.
Wifey? Come on, man.
Yeah, oh, that's still a bang.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. You 100% right on that. I can't hold you on that. That's a great pull. The next bull I got up is I'm gonna go West Coast, and I'm gonna go with MC Ren. I'm gonna go with Ren because I felt like on Straight Outta Compton.
What Ren say?
It's like, with Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life, he always stood out for me, especially on Niggas for Life, because he had to carry that album, in my opinion, because Cube is gone. So, like, Ren always stood out to me, even with Straight Outta Compton with Cube. You know what I mean? But Niggas for Life, I felt like he just bodied that. I loved how he was able to put so many words into his verses. Like, he would he'd put a lot of words into a sentence and just make it flow effortlessly. One, I think he doesn't get his props. I mean, namely because you're in a group with Ice Cube. You're in a group with Cube. You know what I mean? On that first album. Second album, even though Easy and Dre weren't writing their rhymes, I felt like they stood out more than he did. Like, Easy's voice stood out more. Nobody really cared about if Dre wrote his rhymes at that point in time in hip hop. Nobody was really privy to knowing all that shit. Easy was already a solo MC with his stuff out. So I felt like that. And then 3, he doesn't have a solid discography. Like, he just doesn't. Like, he had this joint back in the day, the Kiss My Ass EP, Kiss My Black Ass EP. This is 92, produced by Bobcat. Then in 93, he had Shock of the Hour that was produced by Tootie and Dr. Jam. Then he had Ruthless for Life in 98, produced by Code 187 and Dr. Jam. And then Reincarnated in 09, produced by The Chill and Apocalypse. And I think he just dropped another album or EP recently this year. So the thing is like, you're coming off of Dre production, and there's no disrespect to Bobcat or Tootie and Dr. Jam or, Code 187. None of these names are really grabbing people. You know what I mean? So it's like, with Cube, he's going from Dre to the Bomb Squad. You know what I mean? Whereas with Ren, it's like, so to me, that's why I don't think Ren gets the props he deserves. It's just because, I mean, you're kind of just like with Sheek Louch. You're in a group. And I'm not saying Dre and Easy were better MCs, but I'm just saying that I think people knew their words and their rhymes more than they probably knew Ren's. And then on the R&B side, I'm going to go with Bilal out of Philly.
Man, come on.
I think he's hella slept on. I mean, Firstborn Second to me is a 5 mic classic to me. Like, that just across the board. Nobody sang like Bilal. I mean, when you think of Sometimes, just all the stuff that Bilal was doing was just nobody sounds like him. I think the first thing, Love for Sale, one of the reasons I think it didn't really blow was Love for Sale never dropped. His second album never got released when it was supposed to get released. That's another, I believe Love for Sale is 5 mics myself. Like, yes, that would have been 2 back-to-back 5 mic classics in a row. Kind of, I'm gonna go with Neltron on this, like Kool Keith. He's a kind of weird nigga. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. He's a weird dude.
Very weird. Every time he performs, he's high as shit, man.
Yeah,
more than weed.
Yeah.
Like, when this joint dropped, Airtight's Revenge, I kind of it took me a minute. Like, I love this album now, but when I first heard it, I was like, yo, what? And I think the thing with Bilal is he reminds me of what I say with 3000 and Kendrick. They are artists. Like, if you are expecting the same album from them every time, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna be disappointed. So I remember getting Airtight's Revenge, and I was writing for this website, Couch Sessions, at the time, and my homegirl Vic was like, yo, review this. And I, at first, listen, I probably was like, yo, it's trash. I can't fuck with it. You know what I mean? And then throughout time, I kind of listened to it, and I was like, oh yeah, like, I rock with this, but because it's gonna be totally different. And I think at the end of the day, some people really wanted Firstborn Second again. You know, like, I'll never forget when Voodoo came out. I knew a lot of people that was like, nigga, where Brown Sugar? Like, I want Brown Sugar. Like, I ain't feeling this Voodoo shit like that. You know, everything is dark. It don't. Where's fucking Me and Those Dreaming Eyes of Mine? You know what I mean? And then I know when Black Messiah came out, I know a lot of people who didn't like that. Because it was like, why is it so guitar heavy? And where's the Rhodes? And where's the smoothness? And it's like, again, D'Angelo is an artist. He's not going to give you the same album twice So I think that's what it was for Bilal. Just, you know, Love for Sale never dropping, Airtight's Revenge being weird. He kind of never went back to first, you know, Born Second. And I think if we keep naming neo soul artists, it's probably going to be going back to You Weren't Maxwell or D'Angelo. Like, we can say Eric Benet, we can say fucking Raheem DeVaughn, we go with Bilal. More, it's the third neo soul artist that we're like, why don't they get their love? And it may just be like, shit, they weren't Maxwell or D'Angelo, which is crazy because these niggas release music like every 6 years. So it's not like there isn't space for you to get in. It's almost like you hooping and it's like, yo, nigga, the lane wide open. Why the fuck you taking 40-foot threes? Like nobody's in the lane, but it didn't matter. Like D'Angelo and Maxwell just have that grip on the industry that I think Black Messiah may came out maybe 8 years ago. You know what I mean? And if like D'Angelo says he's dropping tomorrow, nigga, here come the people waiting. And if Maxwell says he's gonna drop, I'm still waiting on the third album from his trilogy, the Black Summer Nights. Like he just disappeared with the Night joint. But if he comes out tomorrow, like, yo, it's coming, people come flooding back. So that's what I have for that. I'm gonna go back around so everybody doesn't have to wait. Gadget, what do you have for your next up? You're muted, bro. Yeah.
My bad. For my hip hop artist, I have G-Dep. I'm staying with the boy.
Wow. Okay.
G-Dep
I like
is so underrated, man. Like, when I first heard him on I think it was the DJ Premier mixtape.
Yeah, I think it was that New York Reality Check, John.
Head Over Wheels.
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell is this? And then, you know, even when Puff got a hold of him, like he was still like, when I listened to him, he was genius in how he put his lyrics together. Like nobody was rapping like G-Dep. Nobody. Like out of everybody in Harlem, like he stood out from his Harlem counterparts. Like he didn't sound like Cam. He didn't sound like people in Harlem sounded like other people. Like May sounded like, you know, Loon and like G-Dep just had his own lane, and he just, the way he put his shit together, man, it was just fire. And his album was fire to me.
Right. Yeah. G-Dep was dope.
Listen, inside of the ghetto, that Black Rob's Life Story is some of the slept on Bad Boy albums, and those are two of the best fucking albums on Bad Boy. Puffy took G-Dep fucking shine and cannibalized him and threw him to the wolves with that whole Harlem Shake special delivery shit. But that album is dope as fuck.
So, Gash, what do you think? Why do you think he doesn't get the props?
He just didn't get the push that everybody else on Bad Boy did. He didn't get, you know, the big features. He didn't have no 24 Hours to Live record. Like Special Delivery was his biggest record.
But you don't think that joint Let's Get It and Special Delivery, those shits was huge, bro. Like they was everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That is true. They seem more like Puff records than G-Dep records. It was almost like Puff featuring G-Dep versus it being G-Dep featuring Puff. Yeah. That's a good point.
Cannibalized him. I'm telling you, he cannibalized him. He used him.
And G-Dep is like, oh, go ahead, Vade.
Well, no, I was just gonna say real quick, because I think we mentioned it for OC. I think Kill, you mentioned it. When you think about Let's Get It, I love the song. I love the way it starts, and it's G-Dep rhyming, but it's like niggas only remember fish and spaghetti, right?
right.
Like they don't remember nothing else. Because they like what?
And one of my pet peeves is when people call Special Delivery ringtone rap. That's a sample. That's part of ringtone rap. Special Delivery is a sample.
Yeah.
Like Yogi, I think did Yogi do that?
I think Yogi did that, and Let's Get It.
Yeah, like come on, let people. It's not ringtone rap. It's a sample. Tired of y'all.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. And like you said, Vern, I think both those albums, the Black Rob and the G-Dep, I think at that point Bad Boy was kind of like just for the radio. So it was like Loon was gonna get more shine than you know, your G Deps, your Black Robs. It's kind of like you said, kind of Puff kept them around to kind of keep that street credibility going with, you know, Whoa and everything like that. But you're right, outside of Whoa, I can't remember any promotions for like that Black Rob album like that. So,
yo, Sicario.
With Short Pepsi Riley on there, that's crazy. The life story joint is fucking crazy on that Black Rob album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, Kel, what you got up next?
I got AZ.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good choice.
I just think, you know, again, I think, well, like G Rap, everybody knows that AZ is just nice stuff. But I think kind of like we talking about OC, and OC's on my list too, but I'll skip them. AZ, just with the timing, you know, you got Nas, you got Jay, you got all these artists that are in his same, kind of in the same vein as far as like Lane and stuff like that. And I think also the firm thing kind of, I think, messed up too. I think that if that would have took off, maybe it would have gotten him more exposure. But, you know, and he kind of releases projects to a little bit spaced out as well. So I don't think that him being on the radar. I think I heard an interview actually with Rosenberg. He was talking about AZ. He's like, no, he said, you're too rich. You don't promote your. He's like, you're so rich. You don't promote your album. You don't do a lot of features. You just kind of like laying the cut. And kind of, you know, just sit back. So I think that hurts him too at the same time. You know, so
yeah, AZ. I don't know what happened with that. Like, Do or Die to me was like a half and half album. Like, I loved half.
Yeah.
And I didn't love the other half. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe like you said with Jay. I forgot who it was. Somebody was making fun of him, like, yo, you the mozzarella gangster. Like it was almost like which one of these kids don't belong here. The Dead Prez videos where they was playing Monopoly. And it's almost like Jay-Z, Big, and AZ. It's like, nigga, AZ, why you at the table?
Why you at the table?
Take your ass back to Brooklyn or something like that. So No, I'm not. I didn't say that. I'm just saying people were saying, you know, like, I get it, Big and Jay, but like, hey, like, why are you at the table? Nigga, like, Nas ain't even at the table. Like, you know, like.
Nas
so you.
Oh,
he was? Oh, okay.
That's the beginning.
Anybody at the table from Brooklyn?
Well, I think they turned it into that because Smooth the Hustler was there also.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody was from Brooklyn, right? I always thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Smooth shouldn't have been at that table either, but
it was supposed to be like, yeah, right.
I mean, they said, I'm started G up, so no fraud niggas will come up out here gambling they re-up. So, you know,
Twitter is on your ass tomorrow.
Oh man, don't nobody care about Smooth the Hustler no more, man. If it ain't Mac Homie or Jay-Z, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing with me. I've never loved the AZ album as a whole. And for me, it's discography. I know some people don't care about the discography. I think that's what's always going to hold AZ back for me. In the production, I just think he needs a dope executive producer who could really, you know, point him in the right directions. Because at that time, who wouldn't want to fuck with Ed? You know what I mean? Like the stuff that Pete gave him, Gimme, like, you know, Ho Happy Jackie. Like I said, there are songs that I love, rather unique. Like there are songs I absolutely love on Do or Die, and then there's songs I absolutely hate on Do or Die. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. What are you gonna say, Bag? Or you were just saying the production?
No, I was agreeing because I was going to say production. Because
when did Do or Die drop? I'm sorry.
95 maybe?
95, I think.
Yeah, because if Illmatic is 94, Do or Die is 95.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. But I think it's, especially when you talk about the later albums, it's definitely production. Because one thing I noticed about AZ, his flow doesn't change with the beat. So there's a certain type of beat he sounds great over, right? Like Life's a Bitch, really smooth, melodic. Sugar Hill, same thing. More Money, More Murder, like that kind of vibe. He could have probably benefited from the type of production Rick Ross used, right? He used a lot of that lavish sounding tracks because it matched his lyrics. And AZ is like, I don't give a shit. I'm on autopilot. you give me whatever beat, I'm rhyming this way. And then sometimes it sounds like he's off beat because the beat doesn't really match his flow. So, some of them beats were really whack on some of those albums, man. I ain't gonna lie.
But he could have benefited from Trackmasters.
I was just about to ask that question because every beat Vague said is a loop. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the Gap Band, it's Sugar Free, it's the OJ. So like, I was just about to say that, Gash. Like, sad to say, but they would have had to disguise their names because the second it said produced by Trackmasters, it was gonna get shitted on. So, if it said produced by the Bodega Brothers, niggas would have been like, yo, who the fuck are the Bodega Brothers? It's crazy. Like, hi, nigga, it's us. It's Trackmasters. Like Scooby Doo, pull the mask back. It's us, nigga. We make these too. Like, that's a good point. Like the album AZ put out last year, like. Again, it's a couple of songs on there I like, but as a whole, it's like, nah, like this ain't it. And it's funny because Twitter niggas be like, oh, this album is wonderful, and I'm like, watch this album not make your top 5 albums of the year. Like that's how it always is on Twitter. Like, oh, this album is incredible, I love it, it's the greatest album ever. And then at the end of the year, it's not even mentioned in your top 5. But AZ's a dope pick, man, dope pick. Now, Tron, who you got up for yours?
Next guy, I'm still on the West Coast. His brother's a part of the Lynch Mob. My brother George, No Need for Alarm, part of the Hieroglyphics crew. Del the Funky Homosapien. It's overlooked.
Good.
Beyond, man. The dude is a wordsmith. He has this album called Future Development, which is it's a dope album. And when he got me is when I heard 3030. And that's actually where I got my name from, Deltron 3030. And I don't see him mentioned on the timeline. And I think Cube kind of overshadowed him in the beginning, and then he broke away from Cube. But nobody really. And he's another weird guy. If you see the brother, he looks like he's from another planet. No, but he's an ill MC, and I think he chooses to stay out of that light. The brother keeps putting out albums. I think he had an album come out maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. But Del Funky Homosapien is my pick for his MC.
Can't forget when he did on the Gorillas. That was huge.
Oh yeah, the Gorilla features. Yeah,
I was gonna say that. That was dope.
Yeah, he killed it. He was on.
And director responsible for the hieroglyphics. He the head. He put that together.
Grandfather for the hieroglyphics.
Without Dale. And if you guys ever had a chance to listen to the battle between the hieroglyphics and Saphir, if you ever can find
Sway in the morning.
On the wake up show.
King Tech, the wake up show. Yeah. So was a mischief when it just went off.
So tell me this: why do you think he doesn't get the props? Because he's weird.
I think he chooses to stay underground. I never heard him. He doesn't have a radio hit. I never heard a radio single from him. The biggest thing he did was, like Vern said, with the Gorillas. When he was like a cartoon on a video, and it's like, yo, who's this dude? It's like, oh, that's Del the Funky Homosapien.
He had one. I think a bad one. They spun that one a little bit. This little first single.
Off the No Need for Alarm. Yeah.
And he wrote a lot. He helped Cube early.
He used to write for Yo-Yo too. I think he ghost wrote for Yo-Yo a few times.
He wrote for Yo-Yo, and he helped out with a lot of the early Cube stuff. I don't know as far as the pen, but like some of the helping putting that together. He went back to the Bay and did his thing.
Yo, Kill, you gotta do one of your shows. You gotta do the Family Tree Ice Cube. God. Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna write that down too before I forget the Family Tree, because I got a show coming up, the Family Tree of Q-Tip, and how many people branch off of that. But I'm gonna write that down too, the Family Tree of Ice Cube. How would you define Del? Because Del never spoke to me. So I never really rocked with him, and then I felt like he put on the hieroglyphics, and everybody he put on, in my opinion, and it's hard for me to say because I never really got to his stuff, was better than him. So it's almost like I'm a dope MC, but then I put all of y'all on, and all of y'all are better than me. So now nobody's paying attention to me anymore. Like Del to me, for me, is like a Lupe Fiasco. Like, you know, like you said, an incredible wordsmith, but it's just something about Lupe that doesn't speak to me. You know what I mean? And I don't know like what vein Like, where do you put, like, how would you describe a Lupe? Like, if you had to describe Lupe Fiasco for somebody, how would you describe him?
I don't really, like for you, the Lupe doesn't do it for me. I mean, I like Kick Push, and then he was just like, damn, he's too deep. But Dell can rhyme with the beat. Like he did, they had this album called Think Differently, and they sampled the Marvin Gaye off the What's Going On album. He rhymed with the beat, like he just was rhyming with the beat, and I can't explain it, man. He always spoke to me, man, in that black comic book nerdy type of way, you know. But I don't think he gets deep as Lupe. So I don't know who I would compare him to, because he's just that unique for me. But I don't listen to Lupe.
Right. I never hear anybody bring up Dell's name, like ever. I don't think I've ever seen. I've been on Twitter 14 years. I don't think I've ever seen Dell's name once. Yeah, you know, and that's no discredit to him. But it's just to say how you said, like, he slept on, he did this stuff with Q, he, you know, put on the hieroglyphics, like this nigga spearheaded so much. So I'm shocked. I don't care if I don't feel him. I'm just shocked other people aren't mentioning his name more or whatever. Vern, who you got up next, bro?
Oh, I had an R&B one.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. What you got now trying to R&B?
I got, I'm going to go with James Ingram, man.
Wow, you going back to
yeah, man. James. So James, when he did Secret Garden, man, y'all know that song.
Yeah.
One of the, you put that on, you know, it's GTD, man. Get the drum.
Right.
But James Ingram, his solo career, I mean, y'all know the single he did with Michael McDonald, Yamo Be There. That's a classic. He got 100 Ways. He did with Quincy. He did I Don't Have the Heart. He did a song off the soundtrack with the white chick. I forgot what movie it was, like a cartoon. But his voice alone, man, he has a powerful voice. And, you know, people talk about Luther and Marvin and, you know, Donny Hathaway, but they never bring up James Ingram, man. So I just thought I'll bring his name up, man. Dude, rest in peace to James Ingram. He sung the hell out of Secret Garden, man. God,
that's a dope pull, man. But I think at the end of the day, it was Luther and the rest of them niggas. When Luther came on, it was like Luther and the rest of them niggas. It's like Luther, Freddie. It was Luther, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then around 6, then it was like, okay, Freddie Jackson, James Ingram. Like Luther just owned from probably 83 to 90. Like he just owned those 7 years and wasn't nobody fucking with Luther. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's sad because James Ingram, we were just talking about last week, Trey and JR were talking about how Donny Hathaway would have been the man, but Stevie was in the way. Yeah, like everybody was talking about Stevie. Like if Stevie wasn't there, Donny Hathaway's name would have probably been mentioned a whole lot more. But you know, Stevie was there, and the nigga was blind. So it's like, nigga, and you got an asterisk, nigga. How you gonna beat a nigga who blind? Like, nigga, he always gonna get more love because he blind. Like, nigga, even if y'all were tied, it's like, well, nigga, he wrote the song blind, nigga. Like you're always gonna win because he blind, nigga. So, Vern, what you got up for your next joint?
My next, we're still on the West Coast. I got Ben Staples. And I believe Ben Staples has a really dope discography, and he's different. Like none of his albums sound alike. He experiments, he does different shit, and it's always palatable. But I think he's more known for his interviews and, you know, just his personality. And I don't think he get promoted a lot, and he's never in trouble, so he don't make no headlines. And I think it's one of those cases where I think he cool where he at. He like that place where he is because he's on a major, and I believe he does enough numbers where he can push for a bigger budget or promote different. Got a nationwide commercial with Acura right now. So
yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yep.
You seen it with the car behind it. But I implore any one of you guys that haven't really listened, like, check him out. He's a real dope dude, and it's like his brand of gangster rap is not from the big ego part of it. It's like it's a different side of being a gangster that a lot of people don't put on display, and it's dope. So I think I got Ben Staples. I don't have an R&B one for this round.
Yeah, I gotta tap into Vince Staples, but you're 100% right. His interviews, every time I see an interview, I'm always intrigued. Like it always, and to me, that's dope. To me, that's dope. Like to me, for some MCs, it's dope that you have a dope personality because if you didn't, then I just don't even pay no attention to you. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm not really feeling what I heard. But damn, dude's interviews be crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe let me tap back into him. So definitely feel Vince.
Burn to add on, I heard and kill the same thing with Vince Staples. He was on Bomani Jones' show on HBO, and he said kind of what you were talking about. His audience, he was like, I try to reach. He said I got 100. I think he said I got 10,000 dedicated fans. I try to get all 10,000 and spend $100. And like that's what. And I can get him to do that. And that's you said you do the math, and you can see what my numbers are. Oh my God, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
his business acumen is on point.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah. He's a smart little cat.
And the thing is, especially if you don't have that ego, if you're not trying to be the best rapper, if you're not trying to be the biggest rapper in the world, if you're happy with 10,000 fans, you say that to somebody else, nigga, you a failure. Fuck you talking about? You got 10,000 fans. Like, nigga, I'm trying to see 8 billion next year. Well, you know what I mean? So again, it's like we all have our different definition of success. You know what I mean?
And a lot of people don't know he started out like associated with Tyler and then with the Odd Futures and Mike Miller and them. Like he hip hop. He does his shit. It's like what you see is not necessarily what you get when you get into the music. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like it's a different angle.
Yeah, because I mean, when I took Nate to the Tyler tour, he opened for Tyler on Tyler's joint. So he opened for him. So yeah. Next person I got up is Big Boy out of Outkast. And here are the 3 reasons why I don't think Big Boy gets his props. Because he's not Andre 3000. Say that 3 times. Say that 3 times in the mirror and walk away and there's fucking Candyman waiting there for you. And that's simply it. Because to me, Big does it all. He does it all. You want him to rap over a slow beat? He can do that. You need 120 BPMs? He can do that. This joint right here to this day, to me, this is a 5 mic classic. I love Sir Lucia's Left Foot. This first album was crazy. Hell, the second album was crazy too. What was this joint? The Vicious Rumors and Dangerous Lies. This shit was crazy. Boomerverse wasn't no 5 mic classic, but I give this a solid 4. He just put out the joint with Sleepy Brown, The Big Sleepover. I mean, I just think at the end of the day, he's not 3000. Like 3000 has not dropped anything since The Love Below, and he stays. It is so strange to me because I still don't fucking get it. I mean, I get it. 3000 is an incredible MC. But The Love Below had to be like 2001. Like, we're almost on 20 years of him not putting out any music. And people are like the Maxwell D'Angelo thing. Like, people are still waiting. Like, niggas, you see this nigga playing the flute in the airport. Niggas lose their fucking mind. Like, he's fucking walking somewhere down, like I'm dead ass. Like niggas my man was like, yo, I just took a picture with 3000 with a flute down Market Street. Like this nigga just be anywhere. Like it's where's Waldo? It's like where's 3000? And that makes more noise than this 3 album discography. Like he could put out 3 solid albums and it's like, yeah, that's cool. But where's 3000? Like is 3000 on any of these?
Like, it's mystiqueness, man.
What'd you say?
It's his mystiqueness that everybody's like, oh, he's like one of those relics, like a Bigfoot or a
it's so strange to me because let me think. How do I want to say? There was a time when I knew a lot of people didn't fuck with 3000, like especially during that Aquemini time when he would have the pink wigs and the football pads on, and a lot of my niggas in the hood tapped out with Outkast, like, yo, man, your man is wild. Like, and what he spoke about, like, what's up with Andre? Is he cold? Is he gay? He spoke on that, on how people were speaking on him. So for a minute, he wasn't cool. And then just like all of a sudden, he became the coolest motherfucker in the world. But how? Like, anybody? Like, how the fuck did that happen? How did you go from people being like, yo, dude's a fucking weirdo. He's wearing pink wigs. The nigga, your man I'm waiting for him to come out in a tutu kill. Your man bugging. How do you go from that to now everybody from Beyonce all the way down to anybody wants you to be featured on their album? How? What's up, Vern?
You changed my mind on Big Boy. I got to tell you that personally because I was one of them people. But I'm going to tell you why. When I heard Southern Playalistic, and I've always been digging and hearing music from different regions. I've never heard nobody from the South rhyme like Andre. And it was so different that it always just had my attention more. Now, I never thought Big Boy was whack. I just never checked. I just fucking checked. Like, I see shit, I hear it, it'd be on the radio, I never turned it off or nothing like that. I just never sat with it. But when I went back, there's even certain Outkast albums where he dog walked Andre damn near the whole fucking album. If you leave, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, okay. So I'm guilty. But it was for that reason, just because Andre had this voice and just this way of rhyming that I hadn't, not just for the South, I hadn't heard nothing like him before. And by the time the second album dropped, he was really different.
Yeah, he was in his bag. And this is no disrespect to Andre. I'm not saying 3000 isn't one of the most incredible MCs ever. I'm just saying, like, I'm just intrigued on how it went from niggas not checking for Dre because he's a weirdo. You know what happened? Being a weirdo became fashionable. Like, that's basically just what eventually happened. And that's what happened. Because I remember when Pharrell came out and niggas was like, yo, this your man with this fucking pervert mustache, and niggas was saying Pharrell was gay. Like, I know we try to forget shit. Yeah. Somebody brought it up the other day on the timeline. They was like, yo, Kill, you remember when people were saying Sierra was a nigga? And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Right, Sierra was supposed to be a dude. Like, we like, it's almost like a Men in Black moment. Like, that shit just got erased. People was like, yo, Pharrell looked like a weirdo. He's a gay weirdo skateboard dude with a pervert mustache. And now he does something in the water and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But that's what it is. Weird shit came into play. So weird niggas came into play.
Or Olivia.
It was both of them. It was Sierra and Olivia. They were talking about they were both dudes. I remember both of them. You know what I mean? But we Men in Black moment that shit. So I got Big Boy, and basically the reason is 3000. Then I'm gonna keep it with the South, and I'm gonna go to Sleepy Brown. I'm gonna go to Sleepy Brown, man. Yo, Sleepy Brown, he had this independent album I talk about all the time, The Vinyl Room in 98, 5 Mic Classic. I told niggas, if you find that shit, you buy it, you don't like it, I will cash app you the money back. I've only done that for 3 albums in my life. 3 things in my life. The Vinyl Room with Sleepy, Paper Soldiers with Kevin Hart, because that shit used to be like $8.99 at Circuit City, and Mia Burns' new album, Automod. Those are the 3 things I fucking co-sign that if you buy and you don't like, I will cash app you your money back. The Vinyl Room was crazy. Mr. Brown in 2006 was crazy. He had an EP in 2013 called ATL, stood for A-Town Legend. Then he just dropped a big sleepover with Big Boy. I think the thing that kind of held him back, he had 2 shelved albums that never came out. Like, shelved albums, I think, killed a lot of people's momentum in the 90s and into the 2000s. The Vinyl Room was an indie release that, like, he was selling out the trunk of his car in ATL. So if you wasn't ATL, you never heard that. I think he also has been cursed kind of just by being the hook man. Like, when people think Sleepy Brown, they think, oh, that's just the nigga who sings the hooks for Big Boy and for shit like that. And then 3, I think he's really not. Well, number 2 also would be in the hook man, because when I tell people like, yeah, one of my favorite Sleepy joints is Can't Wait, I've had niggas being like, oh, I thought that was Outkast featuring Sleepy Brown. You know, because again, 3000 sets it off and his verse is so crazy that it just, and here's the crazy thing, people forget about this. Veg, you were still in Baltimore when You Got Me came out. I remember 92Q, they would be like, You Got Me, Erykah Badu featuring The Roots. Like, that's how the radio was talking about You Got Me, because Erykah Badu was so big at that time. So it's kind of just like, I think that's something with Sleepy Brown, that even on his songs, if Outkast are on them, like we were saying with Puff and G-Dep, like it's the flip. Like, people think this is actually an Outkast song. And I'm like, no, Can't Wait, nigga, you don't hear him sing the fucking, he's got verses on there. And they're like, oh, I tapped out at the 3000 verse. Like, that's what always happens. Like, 3000 rhymes and people just, you know, forget about it after that. And then 3, I think he's really not like he's not like how we would, Vague, how you were saying like Raheem DeVaughn can sing. Like, I don't know if Sleepy can really sing. Like, he can sing, but I don't know if he's taking you to church, you know, and really being able to do that. So I think those are like the 3 reasons why I think he's not looked at in that light like that. Let's see. Vague, would you say, Neltron?
I think he was on that.
Yeah, Vague, what you got up next?
Well, really quick, just off of Sleepy Brown, I remember being on a couple of episodes with you. I think back maybe during the Writers Bench or Corner Podcast or whatever. And I remember you kept saying that shit. Yo, this album, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, kill nobody listen to that shit. You coming out here with these bargain bin ass albums. and then one day I was like, all right, if Kill keeps saying this shit is hot, I gotta at least listen. He's not lying, man. I was disappointed in myself as a music fan that I didn't own that shit. It's a great album. I think he's one of those people who just makes great music. He doesn't even have to sing crazy. He just knows how it should sound. And that album, and obviously people tend to like those particular Outkast features where he sings.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, right? I like the way you move. So
yeah.
What's the name of the album y'all talking about?
The Vinyl Room. This joint right there. The Vinyl Room.
It's not a lot of times. Okay,
I'll say if y'all want to just hit me up. I'll send it out to you.
I think it's on Amazon too. That's why I got mine.
Like I know, a hard copy. It used to be like $8 on Amazon. Like I mean, every song on here, Can't Let Go, Choked Out Saturday Night, Still Smoking, Simply Beautiful. Like yo, the album is just crazy, man. The album is just crazy, and like I forgot who put me onto it or how I found it, but I was like, God damn! And it's actually under Sleepy's theme because it was him and these two other niggas. I don't know what the other two niggas did because he's the only one singing, and he's part of Organized Noise, so he makes his own beats. So I don't know why it's under Sleepy's theme or whatever, but that was that. Beg, what you got up next?
All right, I do have a hip hop and an R&B. Hip hop, I'm gonna go Joey Badass. I think because of his recent album, he kind of caught people's attention again. But I think it's because it's tied to his original joint, 1999, which I think a lot of people loved. But he put out some really dope albums after that. One in particular, American Badass. But I think the problem with that album wasn't that it wasn't great. It was released not too long after To Pimp a Butterfly, and the content is of a similar tone. But Kendrick, I mean, you know what I'm saying, All Right had already become the Black Lives Matter theme. Like that album was already a monster. And
what album is this for Joey Badass?
American Badass.
Badass.
Yeah, it's an excellent album, and I was just shocked that not many people were talking about it, especially based off of how popular I thought he was in the very beginning with like the 1999 stuff. But I think the reason why in particular is because when he came out, being affiliated with Duck Down, right, Boot Camp, and he used to rhyme almost like Boot Camp with production that sound like it came from back in the 90s. And I think people liked them then, right? Probably more heads liked them back then. But then, you know, it's kind of like Nas, right? You make the Illmatic, but you ain't really making a lot of money. You're not really getting the attention you really want. So you make a different album, more so for radio, but you maintain your integrity as a lyricist, but the fans don't like it because it's not what they were introduced to. And you only gave them one of those, you know what I'm saying? But I think recently with the 2000 album he dropped this year, he found a way to get some of those older fans back and introduce them to some of the new things he did on American Badass. And I just think he's really dope. And there are people who, you know, watched, what's the joint that's coming? Kanan, right? Like I got a homegirl, she was like, oh, you hear this song by Joey Badass? I didn't even know he rhymes. I'm like, what?
No, here's the funny thing, bro. I'm the flip. I didn't know that was Joey Badass acting. You know what I mean? So when niggas was like, that's Joey Badass, he does such a good job at Kanan, I was like, damn, let me go back and check his music. Because I never, niggas would always be like, Joey. And I'm like, all right, you know, it was at a point where everybody was like, Kill, he the next one. I'm like, y'all, niggas always talking about he the next one. Like,
Right.
maybe if y'all didn't say that, maybe if you just said, yo, check this dude out. But once you say he's the next one, it's almost, and that's my fault as a fan, the wall just goes up. Because I'm like, right, the next one. And seeing him do Kane, and I was like, God damn, this is a good ass actor. Like, fuck rap. Like, this nigga just need to act. But that pulled me in. So similar with Vern with Vince Staples, his interviews pulled me back in to listen. That's what's pulling me in to listen to this album right here. Is the actor. What you gonna say, Vern?
Looking on his acting, y'all seen that Two Distant Strangers?
The joint with him and Chance?
It's an independent thing with him with this police shit that he did. It's really fucking good. Like, look it up. Two Distant Strangers. Two Distant Strangers or something of that ilk. But if you look up his credits, it'll come up. He produced it. It was big at Cannes when shit opened back up. I think it was on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but it's every day he getting killed by this cop. No matter what he trying a different situation every day, trying something different. And no matter what, shit keep happening. It's dope as fuck. So I didn't even know the nigga played Kanan, but that's what I know him from. So he like, if you like him in Kanan, you gonna really love him now as far as an actor. And I agree, his new fire.
I think his first big role was Mr. Robot.
Okay, I didn't see that joint either.
Because I watched that show because I like nerdy shit like that, hackers and shit. But then I was like, oh shit, Joey Badass. And I was like, yo, he's really good. You know what I'm saying? Because I know him as a rapper. I was like, damn, he's really good as a actor because he was really calm, right? You could tell he was comfortable with his lines. The Wu-Tang show kind of shitted on him. Right? You know?
First season he played Deck. He played Inspector Deck.
Oh, he was Deck? Oh, I didn't even peep that.
And they switched him. They switched him in that season. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even peep that.
A good move for him because
Kanan popped off much bigger than that, John. So, all right.
For my R&B, and again, with my list, some of these guys have a certain sort of, and ladies, a certain type of fandom, but to me, they don't get as much props as they should. My R&B is Carl Thomas. I think people think about the first album, but he had 3 in a row that were crazy. But I think people started to taper off, especially after the third one. So he had Emotional, 2000. He had Let's Talk About It, 2004.
I remember that, John.
In 2007, he had So Much Better. And I, like, by the time we got to the third album, I was like, man, nobody don't like this shit, because I wasn't hearing shit, right? Like, a single would hit the airways, but I wasn't hearing anything, and I'm bumping this every day. So I just figured, like, well, I guess the bad boy energy had been died down.
Was he still on Bad Boy on that third album?
No.
I think he was on. I think he was only on Bad Boy on the first album, right? Even the second album.
Just the first album, but I think that's the way people looked at it. Like, well, can it be good? I think some of his singles did alright on those albums, but they were good. They were really good, and not a lot of the R&B people who left Bad Boy were able to create really good albums after they left Bad Boy. But he did. Now that fourth album from 2011, shit is trash. Trust me. It's I don't know what the fuck he was thinking about. I was like, this ain't it. But as far as that 3-album run, and you know his singing ability is similar to Sleepy Brown, right? Is it because you know him because of hooks on rappers' albums, or you know you just never check for any albums besides Emotional? So
it's funny because I wonder if that's like the gift and curse of Bad Boy, because it seemed like for me the first 112 is my favorite 112. The first Faith is my favorite Faith. The first Carl Thomas is my favorite Carl Thomas. Like the first Total is it's almost just like anything after they left Bad Boy. I don't know what it was. And I mean, it may have just been the Hitman. I mean, Puff had the dopest producers. Like you got Chucky Thompson and Stevie J, not MTV Stevie J for y'all watching, like producer Stevie J. Those are 2 of the dopest, Chucky and Stevie, 2 of the dopest R&B producers you got. Then you got D-Dot, you got Ron Amen Lawrence, you got Nasheem Myrick, you got these straight boom bap dudes. Like, and when you put that whole group of and just tell them go, it's like they were pumping out joints like that. You know what I mean? And like when I interviewed Chuck, he was like, yo, you never wanted to take a day off from the studio because you never knew who was gonna come through. You didn't want to be like, oh, I'm not coming to the studio tonight because Big could come through, and then now you don't make the album, or now you don't make the remix and things like that. So I don't know, because I'm with you, Big. That second Carl Thomas album was dope. I didn't hear the third one, but I kind of felt like once you left Bad Boy, it's like people kind of left with you. Like it's kind of like, it's probably not gonna be as good. You know what I mean? So, but Carl's is a dope pick. It's a dope pick. Vern, who you got up next for yours?
Next to me, Westside Boogie. He's on his second album. You look like you don't know who I'm talking about, so it proves my point.
Yeah, I was like Westside Boogie.
You got me.
You got me, bro.
Westside Gun, so this can't be Westside Gun. So Westside Boogie.
Okay, check him out. He signed. My main reason is I think he chose the wrong label. He signed to Shady, and that does him injustice. His lane would have been probably better service if he went with TDE, but I think he tried to do something different. His two albums are very fucking dope, but it's just something you would listen to and you're like, yeah, I see what you're talking about. But I think he's very slept on. And like I said, he's on his sophomore album. It's funny because you've seen him before. All y'all seen him. Now I'm about to tell you where you seen him at. You ready? Do y'all niggas remember the Snicker commercial when it was somebody was battling? I think they was trying to battle rap. He's like, you ain't something where you hug and give him a Snicker. Then it was this little short black dude.
Oh yeah.
That was Westside Boogie, the little short black dude. That's him. You know what I'm saying?
He did have an album out.
He got two. He's on the sophomore. It's his second album. What it's called, We Need More Black Superheroes. It just dropped, and it's dope. It's just as dope as the first one. But so when you listen, if you listen, you're gonna see what I mean. Like I think he just picked the wrong place to go.
Yeah.
And he's on Shady still right now.
Yeah, he from Compton. He from Compton. He on Shady. This is the second album, and it's just like I just don't know why rappers sign to that label. It just doesn't seem to work for you over there.
Does not, yeah.
Shady. It's shady.
I mean, I think at this time people get it. I think you want, it's Eminem. You know what I mean? It's like you figuring you're gonna get the money, you're gonna get the promotion, but after Slaughterhouse fell apart and now Griselda fell apart, I think now people are like, nah, fuck that.
Look, from OB to D12, it was from the beginning to now. This is consistent. He has never pushed nothing to get where it can go. It always falls short. And I just don't see why nobody would go over there. I don't see why niggas signing anything if you got the momentum to get an offer. That means you're already doing something. So, but I wouldn't go there.
Right. I mean, I think, again, like you said, from the beginning to then, I just know that OB, all of that D12 shit, none of them niggas, in my opinion, were nice. You know what I mean? So when the Slaughterhouse, once they dropped the ball on Slaughterhouse, it was kind of like, okay, your interest is kind of peaked. Like, damn, you dropped the ball on these four MCs. And then it's like, okay, Griselda comes. Okay, this is going to be crazy. Then it's like, oh, you dropped the ball on them too? Now it should be, I don't know how anybody would sign to them. Vague?
I think you're right. I think Eminem signs dudes he likes. Yeah. Like as a fan, he likes their music, but I don't think he signs them with a vision of what to do with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like somebody like a Puff or whatever. Like they know what they want to do with their artists. It's great that they're nice, but at least they have an idea whether it sinks or swims. But I think Eminem just likes the idea of like, yo, he's dope. Let me sign him. But it just puts the shit out, right? And then that's it.
Jordan at the Hornets. It's the same shit Jordan used to do before he got mellow. Just people he liked. No vision.
Yeah. I mean, even with Slaughterhouse, I'm like, yo, y'all gotta have an executive producer, because it just felt like four niggas trying to outbar the last nigga. Like, the average Slaughterhouse song was like 8 minutes. Nigga, don't nobody want to hear four rappers with 64 bars with like a 4-second hook. Like, you needed somebody there to be like, yo, you know what, Royce, you and motherfucking Joel on this joint, and Joe, you gonna do the chorus, and on the next joint, it's only gonna be 2 of y'all. Like I would have, there was 12 songs, there would have only been like 2 or 3 with all of them rapping at the same fucking time. Everything else would have been like, we gonna mix this shit up. Royce had a joint where it was like some old Twilight Zone shit where he was telling a story, and it's like, got with a chick, got drugs, she took his kidney or something. I was like, yo, that would have been dope to do like a Twilight Zone episode, and each one of them have a solo track doing like some Twilight. But you gotta have somebody who got some ideas on how to make this work, because too, it's a super group. This ain't no regular group like we grew up together. This is 4 different niggas, 4 different egos, 4 different managers with 4 different visions of what they want. And if nobody at the label know what they doing, then you get what we got with Slaughterhouse, which was a brick, and it shouldn't have been a brick. You know what I mean? But this is what it is. Neltron, who you got up next, bro?
I got this brother you talking about, Sleepy. This guy goes by the name of Witch Doctor. He put out one album, and I think that's why he's overlooked. With that album, I know he's not a lyricist. He reminds me of Cool Breeze. He's just like talking, but the theme of that album, it was very dark. It was on some shaman, witch doctor stuff. But when he came out with Every Day Is a Holiday, that beat, he has everybody on that album. And the only reason I know that people overlook him is because of that one album. But he still performs, because I think you said you went to go see the whole deal.
Yeah, I went to see the
and Witch Doctor was there, but that's my MC pick.
And then I think it's too, nigga, you part of the Dungeon family. So at the end of the day, it's like it's Outkast, Goody Mob, and then the rest of them. Like how it was Luther and the rest of them, it's Outkast, Goody Mob, and the rest of them niggas. Like, and it's kind of like that's the gift and the curse. You in the Dungeon family, but nigga, you not nicer than Goody Mob, and you not nicer than Outkast. So again, you gonna come in 3rd place. It sound like that when you in the woo, like nigga. Dak may be one of the dopest MCs ever at setting off songs, but he's probably never going to get mentioned above Meth, Ray, Ghost, Jizza, sometimes even Old Dirty.
I blame the flood.
Yeah.
The flood.
I blame the flood. I blame the fucking flood. That's my favorite MC in the woo, and I know it would have been different. I fucking held on it.
The only reason why I don't know if it would have been different is because keeping in mind, like, everybody else to me except Jizza is a character. Like Meth is a character. Ray, short, fucking, with the part, he's a character. Ghost, a character. Old Dirty, a character. Like Jizza is like the only like straightforward like dude like that. Which you're right, because maybe if he would have done that, Jizza and Deck are kind of in that same lane, almost. But I just still think when not people like your favorites, but I think when people mention the Woo, I still think Dak's name is coming up 5 or less.
He probably coming off the bench for most people. But
right.
I think it would have been different.
Which is crazy when you think about it, because when you're talking about Triumph, who you talking about? Dak. Talking about Above the Clouds, who you talking about?
That.
Remember the Pink Rock joint with him and Corrupt?
Hell yeah, the True Master.
True Master. Oh man, still.
Cold World, all of that shit.
Yeah. I mean, Dak is a monster, but again, it's the gift and curse. I'm in here with Meth.
Like Dak is on Cream.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I mean, I'm just in here with Meth. I'm in here with Ghost. I'm in here with Ray, and these niggas just have that. It's almost like Ray just got that look. You know what I mean? You look at Ray, you like, oh, that's Ray. The voice, the look, everything. Like, what's up?
No, I know, man. It's the personalities.
Right. That's the thing. Like Ray has that personality. He got that smooth, that part. Like I keep going back to the part. Like it's almost like Nas with the fade in the part. Like that nigga Ray just look like that nigga. You know what I mean? And Ghost is just on some wild bathrobe, listening to dramatic type nigga. And Dirty is crazy. And Meth got with the eye and the half his hair braided and Dak is just like a regular dude with a baseball cap. And it's like, I'm trying to find my way in through all these other characters and shit. And no matter how dope my verses are, the heads know. But again, we the minority in this music game. You know what I mean? So it's like we know, but the bigger picture, they're the ones who don't know. Gad, who you got up next, bro?
Oh, hold up, I had a.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you got R&B too.
Yeah, that's cool. My next R&B is Michelle Ndegeocello. Nobody talks about this woman. She's been out since what, 93 with Plantation Lullabies, Sitting Outside Your Door, If That Was Your Man Last Night. She came with the pre-neo soul, playing the bass. Her tempo changes, Run My Fingers Through Your Dreadlocks. Then she came with Peace Beyond Passion. Then she had Redman on a Cookie album. She did the Comfort Woman. I've seen her live. She stays low, and she's just a great musician, man. She put out an album a couple years ago called Ventriloquism, when she redid Night Day. She did I Wonder If I Take You Home, Sensitivity by Ralph Tresvant. She redid like maybe 10 songs, and she did a Luther on those songs. Like, she took those songs and made.
And what's the name of this album?
Ventriloquism.
Right.
I can't say this shit. I've been sipping.
It's all good, bro. I'm a fan. I'm intrigued.
Michelle.
Yeah, that too.
Bruh, she did Don't Disturb This Groove on that album, man. She killed it, dude.
You've intrigued me enough right there. And then the joint, one of my favorite joints is the joint that she did on here, Rush Over, off the Love Jones soundtrack with her, Marcus Miller.
Right. She killed it. She talked over it. Over it. And she also did a fire single off the Higher Learning soundtrack called Soul Searcher.
And what was the joint that she had that sounded just like Brian McKnight's Anytime?
No, she did that first.
No, I know. Yeah, she did that first.
Spitting outside your door was the song. Same piano riff and everything.
And she had that joint that was on the Love and Basketball soundtrack too, right?
Yeah, it was off the Bitter album. But they put it on the soundtrack. They put it on Fool of Me. You made a fool of me. Yeah. So
I think the thing with Michelle is I think she was before her time.
Yeah.
Like, then she kind of cracked before the neo soul thing jumped off.
She did, right before. Like, her first album was 93, Plantation Lullabies, then Peace Beyond Passion. And Peace Beyond Passion is like my favorite. As a matter of fact, I just did a show with JR and Elise talking about that album.
Yeah, the thing is, 93, niggas wasn't ready for no Peace Beyond Passion. That's
93 was the one you talking about with Brian McKnight, and it was like political with hip hop.
Yeah, but I mean, niggas really wasn't. That neo soul shit popped like 95, 96, right? Yeah. So it's almost like that. It's almost like Kane in the Don't Curse video with the silk shirt and champagne, and we looking like, yo, what the fuck? But then you fast forward 4 years and Jay-Z doing it, and it's like, yo, this the shit. Like, sorry, he's like you. Sorry, you was the first, but nigga, like we wasn't ready for champagne and silk shirts yet. Like we wasn't ready. But yeah, and not just.
I know why.
And what you got, babe?
No, go ahead, finish your thought.
I was gonna say too, she's also an amazing bass player. So we're not. I mean, forget about just the singing. Like, she's an amazing, flat out bass player. Like, just period. So that was it, babe. What you got?
I was gonna say. I think why she doesn't come up so much, I don't think it's so much her music. I think it's because niggas can't spell or say her last name. Black
Facts.
They like somebody. They like, Michelle.
That bald head bitch.
Right.
And I don't think they were ready for a woman being bald at that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so again, she's not super attractive. No. I'm not saying that. I don't think people were ready for a woman with a bald head in 1993. In 2004, no problem now. You know, we going with naturals, we going with the shortcuts, we going, we both got the same barber. Like, that was cool then. It wasn't cool in 1993 for you and your girl to have the same barber. So again, timing too. So like you said, Vegas, people don't never want to say the word wrong. So it's like, I don't even want to say her name, Michelle. Yeah, nigga. I had one of my homeboys who would say Michelle nigga. They were like, it just sound like Negro. I'm gonna just say Michelle nigga. So there you go. So I'm not even mad at that. People may have thought you was joking, but I had a friend who'd be like, yeah, Michelle nigga. I like her, man. She's dope. I'm like, Michelle nigga. Michelle nigga. Like, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Right. Gad, who you got up next, man?
Hold on, but before I go to my two, I think another reason why she didn't blow up, I don't think she played the industry games.
No.
Like, I don't think she went, with the industry. I think she just wanted to do her own thing and forget whatever labels told her to do.
And you know what? That's a great point, because all her music felt like she's an art. Again, when we talk about 3000, we talk about Bilal, we talk about D'Angelo. They're artists, so she never had that song that was like, yo, let a rapper get on your song with you, or, do this or make this type of song for the radio or anything like that. Like, so that's a great point too. She really didn't play the. That may be a good point for a lot of people, because one of the things, like with Anthony Hamilton, when I heard Coming From Where I'm From, I loved the whole album. But then a lot of albums since then, I felt like he was making songs for the radio. Like, I never felt like I got that soul again from Anthony Hamilton. Maybe on a song here and there, but not on a complete album until this last one that he just dropped. And to me, that was him playing the game. It was, hey, to get my name out here, I need to be on Pop 40 radio. I need to be in these circles. So that may be something, the same thing with Raheem DeVaughn and Eric Benet. I mean, even though Eric Benet had a fucking wedding song, because that song with Tamia was a wedding song. So I think yours just goes back to the whole Halle Berry thing, and he got canceled for that. Because that song was a monster. When you make a wedding song for black folk, nigga, you kind of in here for the rest of your life, because we going to be playing that song all the time. Right. So that's a great point. That's a great point, that some of these people aren't playing the game.
Yeah. So my hip hop group that does not get enough props because they were a 3-man group at the wrong time, Sporty Thieves. Like, I love the Sporty Thieves album.
Wow.
Like, to me, they could have went toe to toe with the Lox at that time. As far as, matter of fact, they might have had a better first album than the Lox.
I'm gonna fall back with this one, because I was disappointed with Sporty Thieves. I didn't like the production, and I'm at that time I was the biggest Ski Beats fan in the world, and I was like, oh, a whole album with Ski Beats, and I can't wait for this. But here's the thing, I'll say this: I never went back to it. I listened one time, I didn't like it, and I never went back. So it may have just not hit me at the right time. So I may need to pull that back out, because if you believe in your heart of hearts that this could be better than the Lox first album, then I'll give it another spin.
Like you said,
plus the no pigeons just didn't do it for me either. That didn't help nowhere
but
around.
They had other shit on the album that was fire. Like them dudes was nuts with it, and they fell into the whole. Everybody was into the shiny suits. They got overlooked, but they were hot to me.
Okay, I need to check them out. I just remember.
That shit is one of the best. It's one of the best concept albums I think I heard. I love Street Cinema, but it's like, I think like both of you said, the response records kind of set you up for something else, and then when you got the album, it wasn't that. It was different. You understand what I'm saying? And I think they may have played that back and forth, responding to R&B shit a little bit too much, and it kind of fucked up what they really was about. And then Tragedy hit and shit just fell apart from there. But
when you said Tragedy hit, what happened?
Brando died. Yeah, Brando died.
Oh damn! What happened? How'd he die? I didn't even know that.
He got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh damn! Wow. Damn. I
didn't know that. Style that was fucking crazy. I'm gonna try to look it up and I'm gonna send it to you. But it was
they had a fire joint with the chick from Philly. Who was the female rapper from Philly that was killing it back then?
Miss Jade?
Was it Jade? It might have been Miss Jade. It was crazy.
Okay. All right. I need to go back and listen. I just know production-wise, I wasn't like Ski coming off of Camp Low and everything he doing for Jay-Z. Like production-wise, the album didn't really catch it for me. So like, let me say that, because I was just listening with producer ears. I probably ain't heard a word they said.
Did the Lox first album catch you?
Nah.
Production wise?
Nah.
Right.
Right. So like I said, if you say that, I'll definitely go back and listen to it. You know what I mean? Because I was hype as shit for that album. Because like I said, at that point, Ski was probably my favorite producer. So I was hype as fuck. Like, oh, this Ski rock a block, this is label, this is first artist. Yo, I know he gonna kill these beats. And I just didn't hear nothing that like I ain't hear no Lucchini, I ain't hear no Dead Presidents, I ain't hear no beat that was standing out like all the Skis other shit. So I'm like, cause that's my thing. If I get an artist and it's finally my label, nigga, you get all the dope shit. Like fuck the shit I gave Jay and Camp and Bahama-D and all them motherfuckers. Wait till what I hear. So again, I wasn't listening to the MC. So I'm gonna definitely go back and check it though. I'm gonna definitely go back and check it.
My R&B slept on artist is Guapale.
Wow.
Like I do not know why people do not listen to this. She checks all the boxes. Beautiful, can sing, like smart. I don't know why nobody checks for this woman.
All right, give me an album to start with because I've always heard her name, but I've never listened to anything. So give me an album to start.
I don't know the name of the first album, but
first, it's a debut album
produced by the Hieroglyphics. I know she has some affiliation with Hyro.
All right, well, this goes back to Vegas thing. Guapale, is that how you say her name? Like,
yeah.
All right. I'm not even gonna try to spell it because I'm like Gawapla, and I'm sure when I put that in Apple Music, that shit ain't right. But I'll figure it out.
Let's do it.
Well, you know what? You know why I said that, and I mean, I see how you get it. It's because we've all been there. You've seen that chick or that dude who's black who sits there and they want to say it, but they know they about to say it wrong. Like, yo, you ever heard of Guapla?
Right. You see, I've spelled the chick name Gawapla, and I'm sure that's not how you spell Guapale. So, yeah. But I'll definitely check for her first. So you said a debut album, just start there?
Yeah.
All right. Is she, and you said she's down with Hyro?
She was her first album.
Okay.
So what's that single, Gage? Closer to My Dreams, I think, is her single that everybody knew. Closer to My Dreams,
yeah, Closer to My Dreams.
It's a cool, real smooth out beat too. It's really nice. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe she sounds neo solo with the name Guapale, and again, she just wasn't Jill Scott or fucking Erykah Badu. Like, and
right,
you just kind of fall in the line of everybody else who. It's just fucked up, man. Like, I don't know how do we make it bigger so where it's not just two people who Brody everything. Like, even going back to the 80s where you were James Ingram, like, it's like, yeah, too bad Luther was there. It's like the same thing with the Knicks, like, too bad Jordan was there. It's like, damn, like, and I get it with sports. Like, of course, if you can't beat Jordan or whatever, but it's like, but with music, like, dog, we can have 5 people we listening to at the same time, like. But why don't we?
I can't answer that question. But when Guapale came out, like for some reason you can't have 2 light-skinned women out at the same time. Like Group Theory was out at the same time. Like it can only be one light-skinned woman doing neo soul at the same time. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. But why? But that's you're 100% true. But I'm really like. But why? Why can't we have, like, people say, yo, if Aaliyah never died, Beyonce want to pop because Aaliyah had the singing, the dancing, the acting. That was Aaliyah's bag. If Aaliyah was still here, I've said it. I don't think Jay has the same career if Big was still here. But why not? Why couldn't Big and Jay both have great careers? Why couldn't Steph and Allen be drafted in the same draft class, play the same position, both be point guards from the hood with tattoos when nobody had tattoos? And why can't they both succeed? Like, why is there only room for one all of the time? Whether it's sports, music, whatever, it's like there's only room for one person.
It's like comedians.
Clark Kent just answered the question.
Is in the same vein. Like you say, there's only to be one Kevin Hart, one Chris Rock, one Dave Chappelle, one Eddie. Like, there's so many other people. Like you said, Patrice O'Neal, man. Jesus. That dude was I don't know why we do that in our culture. It seems like.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like I just said, you can't have 2 light-skinned neo soul people at the same time. So, like, y'all gonna have to fuck what y'all gonna do. Like, have a fight. Y'all gonna rumble and get this shit over with to figure to draw straws. Like, we're acting. But the thing is we're acting like we're drowning on a Titanic and there's only one fucking boat and only one of us can get in it. Like, nigga, it's a whole industry. Why can't we both like 2 light-skinned women with dreads at the same time. Well, why can't we? Like, I was shocked Jill was able to kind of fight her way past Erica, because I was like, Erica kind of has this neo soul shit on lock. So I was kind of shocked that Jill was able to get in and kind of nudge the door open and be like, nah, nigga, I'm here too, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? So
and for an industry that doesn't respect big women, for Jill to come in the way she did.
Great point.
At that time,
you know,
like big women are celebrated now, but
right back then they weren't. And her first song was about whooping a girl's ass. Like, this wasn't like no love song. It's like you getting in the way. Like, nigga, the video is I'm coming to your crib in North Philly. Nigga, stop calling my man. So not only is she the big girl, the first single is about fighting, but everybody loved Jill Scott. You know what I mean? So I don't know how Jill did it. I don't know. And did it on an indie label. Hidden Beach was not no big label to be rumbling with Erykah Badu's Kedar, which at the time Kedar was the nigga. Like, that was the gatekeeper for neo soul. Kedar Massenberg, who he had the D'Angelo thing. Yeah. So like, for Jill to do that through an indie, that's something right there. Kel, who you got up next?
Go back to Cold Chill and Master Ace.
Still working.
I think he got. To me, I got 3 classic albums. Take a Look Around.
Hot Summer.
Long Hot Summer. I think all of them are classics to me. I think
classic album.
He just I don't know. Classic. You know, your rapper's rapper. You know, he's a dope MC. I think you know, same thing with Coach. I think he falls in the red up. You got Kane there and stuff. Then you got, you know, even though, like I said, G Rap is underrated, but he's still overshadowing Ace. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think though too, G-Bass Nigga comes out. He goes to West Coast. We talking about Vern. You talking about Kool G Rap doing his 3rd album on the West Coast. I think Ace going to West Coast too, kind of pigeonholed him too, like, oh, you're a West Coast guy now, and I think that kind of took him off the radar a little bit. You know, as far as
that was his biggest song, though.
Definitely his biggest song, but I know that's the problem. New York,
for a Brooklyn nigga to go to LA and have your biggest song, isn't that a slap in the face to New York?
It is.
Like, that's the problem. So it's like, if it's like, yo, New York is who held you down and you went over there and you want to fuck with them, we'll go fuck with them then. Don't come back.
Yep. Exactly. I think too, he's actually, I give him credit because he's a big artist that went overseas. And I think that's his lane a little bit now too. You know, he tours a lot overseas and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people in the States now don't even kind of look for him in a sense, even though he's steadily dropping. I mean, still dropping albums to this day. So,
yeah. I think one of the things with Ace, again, gift and the curse, you're in the Juice Crew, and he was like 2nd tier Juice Crew, because it's like Juice Crew with Shantae, Shan, Kane, and G Rap. Then we got the 2nd tier with, you know, Traj, Craig G, Master Ace. So like, you're on the bench squad, you're on the practice team. You know, even though you killed your verse in the symphony, like, you've never come whack. Like you said to me, take a look around. That's a 5 mic classic to me. I just think, again, it's just like, and going back to what Vern said about G Rap, there's no hit. You know, there's really nothing. Like, if you're not a Master Ace fan, you're gonna feel out of place at a Master Ace show. Whereas if you're even if you're not a huge Big Daddy Kane fan, you know, I get the job done. You know, ain't no half step, and you know, smooth operator. Like, you know, it's how people can be like, yo, I'm a Prince fan and never listen to a fucking album, can't name you an album cut whatsoever, but there were enough songs that, you know, you could get to it. I think Ace just doesn't have that song. What's up, Vic?
You would think people would talk about him more after Crooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
Because his verse
killed it.
Like, we like Buckshot's verse because we like the style, but listen to the shit Master Ace is saying in there, right?
Yo, that 3rd verse, yo, what happened to Rerun and Roger? I already said that. Like, yo, Ace killed that, man.
You know, people who listen to rap just for entertainment, they want personality.
You're right. Yeah,
you know,
you're right. Yep.
That's why the masses, they don't feel Rakim. like a lot of people don't feel Nas like there's no personality. Like they got we know they have lyrics for days, but people want to see, you know, they want to see fucking you laughing, joking, like. I'm afraid to say this. Niggas want to Cardi B everybody. Like they want to see the real you, but you know, Master Ace is just I'm a rap, go home. I'm a rap, go home. Like that's it.
Yeah, it's almost like what I was saying about Meth. Like Meth, I don't think he's the dopest MC in the Wu, but he's the one who's gonna have a comedic edge to him. He's the one who's gonna be on an episode of Jamie Foxx. He's the one who's gonna have this style that not only because we talk about the voice, where it's like, okay, I know who you are when I see you, but like Joey Badass, how am I watching a whole season of Kanan and I don't know that's Joey Badass? Like, I don't even know what you look like type thing. You know what I mean? So we talk about how important the voice is, but then like Gadge is saying, for the casual listener, which is the majority of people, they want to see personality. You know what I mean? Right. I guarantee you the person who ain't even a big Wu fan knows who Old Dirty is. Whether it's from him being on Mariah, him doing something like that. You may never even heard Return to the 36 Chambers, but you know who Old Dirty is just because of the personality. And it's like, yeah, Ace is just, you know, he's what you say, Cal, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Like he just raps. I know when me and Ace, I would just like him to just rap. I don't need no more stories. I just give me a break. Like even the last joint he did with Marco Polo, I'm like, goddamn, another story. Like nigga, can we just rap? I get it. You can do that. Thumbs up, nigga. Like go write a script, sell it to Hollywood. But can I just get an album with just, I don't need no more stories. And please, God Almighty, nobody do another song about hip hop being a girl. He just did that on the last Marco Polo album. And I'm like, yo. Fucking I Used to Love It came out in 1990. It was 2018 and we're still doing hip hop as a woman. Somebody, here's my thing. If you don't have a good friend in your life, because I swear to God, if Vern tries to send me a song or Vegas sends me a song like hip hop as a girl, I'm gonna be like, bro, can there at least be a fucking dog? Can we do something else? Like if you want to compare hip hop to another person or a heartbeat, let's do something else, but not another girl. We can't do. Even when the Roots did off of Things Fall Apart, it was like, what was that shit called? The Love of My Life. I'm like, oh fuck, like yo, come on, y'all, stop. It's like doing another Stray Bullet or doing another I Gave You Power. Like it's been done. Nobody wants to hear you say a song in reverse again. Nas did it the best. Leave it alone. Like nobody has done this better than Common. So can we stop? Like, please, like all means, at least if you're gonna do it better than Common. It's like if you're gonna redo a Patti LaBelle song, goddamn it, you better sound better than Patti. Like, and if you don't, somebody in the studio needs to be like, nope, like we can try it. We can try. And then we're all in the studio like, nope, that's not better than Patti, so we're gonna just scrap it and keep it moving. What are you saying, Gaddy?
If you don't like Master Ace story songs, don't listen to Vivon.
Who's that?
That's that Sonny Vivon album that he did. He rapped over Doom beats, enough Doom beats.
Ace did?
Yeah, it's dope.
I never.
Look,
it's called what?
It's called Son of Vivon.
His mother.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
He rapped over all Doom loop.
Is that streaming? Is that streaming?
Yeah. It should be. Yeah.
All right, bet. I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, that album was kind of slept on. I ain't gonna front.
Wow, when did this come
out?
Kill ain't gonna like it because he don't like stories.
Where he don't like the last one either. No, he gonna like the last one.
The one with Marco Polo, right?
No, he came out after that.
Yeah, what's it called? He's talking about school, going through school, going.
Oh yeah, going to Brooklyn. It was how he had to commute and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, nigga, write a script. Like, do that every other album. Like, we could do that. I dig it. Like, that should, but I mean, I get it. That's your lane. But just know you may alienate a couple of folk here and there. The next person I got is Black Moon. I don't think they get their props because they're the inventor of this new lo-fi sound. When all these producers are like, oh, the lo-fi and the lo-fi and the lo-fi, I'm like, nigga, that ain't nothing but an SP1200 and a filter. Like, nigga, you can do whatever you want to it. To me, that's the lo-fi sound. I think the thing with Black Moon is there was 6 years between Enter the Stage and Warzone. So I think that 6 years really like affected them. Two, I felt like the other people that they brought in the boot camp clique were maybe better than them. You know what I mean? Like Smith and Wesson, somebody could argue Smith and Wesson was better than Black Moon. You know what I mean? Or Ruck and Rock, Helter Skelter was better than Black Moon. Or OGC was better than Black Moon. And then I think just the breakup with the Beat Miners. Like, to me, it was almost like the Beat Miners are like the fucking Funk Brothers to Motown to me. Like, you know, like they were the backbone of the boot camp sound. You know what I mean? So I'll never forget that when the For the People album came out, like the first boot camp compilation, I couldn't wait for this. And I pressed play and I heard them beats. I was like, yo, this shit is trash. Like, yo, this is horrible. This is 5 trash cans, easy. Like, I've been waiting my whole life because I was the lone nigga who I always liked boot camp more than Wu. And I was always the lone person probably everywhere in the world. I was probably just me and Evil D. Like, even probably Smith and Wesson like the fucking Wu-Tang more than their own group. But I was like, yo, here it is, the For the People, like this, the whole album, the whole crew, this, we gonna show the Wu-Tang niggas what's up. And it was like, we ain't gonna show nobody what the fuck is nothing with this shit. Like, this shit was trash. So, right. I mean, I just think, you say that?
No, I was gonna say you're right because I was at Morgan during that time. And I was always the type of dude, you know, I do the book bag shit, I do the shiny suits. Like, I like it all for different reasons.
Right.
But I could see, like, I had friends strictly shiny suits. I had friends strictly book bags, and these niggas was just raw. And the book bag just be like, yo, when that For the People come out, and I'm kind of like, shit, they might have a score on their hands. And man, when I pressed play, I was like, this can't be the same people. Like this.
Bro, that album, Kel, no disrespect, that album was fucking John Starks in Game 7. Like, nothing but fucking bricks. That album was brick after brick after brick after brick. And I was just like, yo, I cannot believe, like, how did y'all go into the studio? These are the same niggas who rapped over Bucktown, who rapped over... How did y'all let, like, these beats fly? Like, how did y'all do that? Like, who talked you into this? Like, I need that 30 for 30 with the BCC. Like, yo, Drew Hyde just said, trust us, and da-da-da-da. I mean, I need to know how, because, dog, there's not one beat on there that was even remote close to being good. You know, and that's how I felt about Smith & Wesson's second album, The Rude Awakening. It was the joint the 2 Beat Miners joints did. It was called Bucktown, and they had a joint with Tony Touch and Hurricane G. I forgot the name of that joint. Oh, yeah. And those 2 joints was crazy. But then it was just like, yo, this whole no sampling. And it's like, nah, bro, that ain't it. So I had
Black Trump was dope.
Yeah, Black Trump was dope. That was dope. And then my R&B person,
We Got the Problem. Didn't Black Moon have a song called We Got the Props?
Yeah, that's the original. And I mean, the thing about that was I remember seeing that, and like you said, Big, that was straight backpack, that was straight your beeper on the side, like that was straight, you know, Brooklyn fucking underground hip hop or whatever like that. And like I said, they led that movement. It was like Smith and Wesson, Here Comes Next. And it was just like, damn, but I feel like nobody talks about Black Moon. Like, you know, they'll talk about Into the Stage and they'll be like, that's it. I liked Warzone. I know me and Mr. Walt are the only 2 people who actually liked Warzone. That ass, like, nobody, like, I don't even think it will be like that album. It's just me and Mr. fucking Walt. Like, we are the only 2 human beings who liked Warzone. I liked the joint. The joint with Q-Tip was crazy. The joint with Busta was dope. Like, Onslaught, there was some dope joints on there. The 2 turntables and the mic, I get it. That was the Radiogram. That was around the time where everybody had to have that one song. Like, I don't forget Ghost. Like, when Ghost had the song where he was in court with Carl Thomas, I'm like, that's just a radio joint. Ghost, the rest of the album.
Be the same again?
Yeah, there you go. It's like, you know what? That's just, nothing else on the album sound like that. Let Ghost get some money in his pocket. Keep the label happy. Let's keep it moving. And then the R&B person I got is Solange. And the reason why I think Solange doesn't get her props is because she's not Beyonce. Just say that 3 times, and that's why Solange doesn't get her props. I really think Soul Angel and the Hadley Street Dreams from 2008. I thought that was an incredible album. Tony, Dancing in the Dark would have been there. The single I Decided, Valentine's Day, 6 O'Clock Blues. very dope album. Her album A Seat at the Table in 2016, another incredible album. Raphael Sadiq produced half of it. Rise, Weary, Cranes in the Sky, Mad, Don't You Want, Don't Touch My Hair. Like, they're just bangers on there. And I think it's Beyonce. I think she's like, I'm gonna go back to Neutron. She's kind of strange. She's kind of a weirdo. You know, the new last EP she put out that she kind of produced herself, I wasn't feeling it at all. And then number 3, she's not a great singer. Like, she's not Beyonce. So it's kind of like, you know, you're always. I never forget one of my favorite Pusha lines. He said, "Niggas running a race just to settle for Solange." So it's like basically you running. Yeah, he said you run the race just to settle for Solange, and in that back you hear the ad-lib second, just so in case people didn't get it. It's like niggas running the race just to settle for Solange second. Like, so like that's the problem. I think Solange is more known for beating Jay-Z in the elevator than she is for her music, and I think that's kind of fucked up because I think Shorty makes dope music. So that's why I got. What you want to say, Cal?
I was gonna say I've never heard of any of her albums. Now I gotta go listen to the whole catalog.
Yeah,
I've never heard that one.
Yo, I would say start with A Seat at the Table because that's Raphael Sadiq behind it. I mean, I like the first album too, but if I had to say start with something, I would say start with the Seat at the Table. Because to me that's real dope. That's one of those albums like Naomi loves it, I love it. So it's like a 17-year-old and a 48-year-old. Like we will just be listening to that album together. So very dope album. Let's finish off with I think we on the last one. Vern, who's your last joint?
Licks, the Alkaholiks.
Great.
We often talk about 3 album runs, and 21 and over, Coast to Coast and Liquidation would qualify if you ask me. I think Tash is one of the dopest MCs ever, and niggas be sleeping on Rico. And I think J.E. Swift and his production is pretty fucking dope. And the Licks just, I don't know what happened. They was never affiliated with Dre, which is kind of something that happens on the coast. If you ain't got that Dre cosign, sometimes you go overlooked. And it wasn't the far side where they wasn't weird, you know, and abstract. So maybe that was it. But they had, you know, you knew them. They had big records, but they was just never big enough. You know what I'm saying? So I would say the Licks.
Yo, man, Alex, niggas sleep on J-Ro, man. Like, I feel like Tash gets the props, but J-Ro was dope. I agree with you 100%. I think they were dope across the board. E-Swift, I never forget when Operation Lockdown came out and niggas thought Beatminerz did that. And it was like, nah, E-Swift did that shit. It was like, damn, because Operation Lockdown was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I always wondered if they didn't get the props, like, or how West Coast people felt, because they were a West Coast group, but they sounded very East Coast-ish. You know what I mean? So I always wondered, like, did that help or hurt? Or like you said, if you don't have that Dre cosign at that time, could you be successful as a West Coast group?
That came out at a time where on the West, it was still predominantly dominated by gangster rap. So anything that wasn't gangster rap was looked at a little different. Okay. It served its purpose, but it wasn't really invested in like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You would hear it and shit. People played it and supported it, but it wasn't that nobody would stand on and back. Like, you know, if you asked the common person what they you know, name some shit, that probably wouldn't have came up.
Right. I tell you this about the Licks, man. I got the advance, and it was during a Greek picnic, I guess 93 in Philly. And we popped that shit in. That shit never left the car, man. It never left. And that's huge, because usually during Greek picnic, that's like, yo, we banging the music we know, we want to rap along to it. Yo, we popped that shit in and it never left. That's like a testament to how dope, to me, 21 and over was. And the second joint, that's not Liquidation. The second joint is what? Coast to Coast. To me, that's, again, we back to the low end midnight thing. Like, either one could be dope because they were both incredible albums. So definitely dope on that. Neutron, who you got up?
My last joint, this the last round, right? Yeah.
I think I done lost count, man.
Okay.
Or you can tell me whatever you got left. You could just say whoever you got left.
Okay, the first cat come from Freestyle Fellowship by the name of AC Alone from the West Coast. This dude left Freestyle Fellowship and put out his solo album was All Balls Don't Bounce. And the one that got me was his second album was called Book of Human Language with the producer was called Mumbles. And that album, front to back, bro, it's just an amazing. It's like a story. You know what I mean? So if anybody ever get a chance to listen to AC Alone, pick up the Book of Human Language. Check that out. Reason why he's overlooked is because he's just one of them underground cats that some cats stay underground. You know, and they don't want to. Yeah.
I'm on an album with him. I'm not on the song with him, but I'm on a project that he's on.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, right now?
It's from a producer named Polly Rock. The Things We Live For is TLIF or something like that. Came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Oh yeah, man. Send me the link or the YouTube or something. Man.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, but AC Alone's nice, man. He's up there, man. So and my last one is Quelle Chris out of Detroit. But he's been all over the place. He's like Jay Electronica. You don't know where he's from. If he's from Detroit, New York.
Said Quelle Chris?
Yeah, Quelle Chris, and
Hey,
I got on
his
him.
Wife.
I know his wife.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. She was on my list.
His wife, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I know who. The way you said it, Gag, I'm like, oh shit, somebody I used to fuck with. Like what? Like oh shit. Like damn. Like
yeah.
Okay. I tell you what's funny about AC Alone. Before we go back to Chris, it goes back to what Vegas said. I can never pronounce his name. And I wouldn't even say it because I was like, I don't even want to try because I'm gonna fuck up his name. So I ain't never. And it's called AC Alone.
AC Alone, Book of Human Language. Yeah.
And he also came out at the time that everybody was getting out of groups on the West Coast, like Saphir was coming out, the Far Eye was coming out. Like it was just too many West Coast MCs going solo at the same time.
And it's funny because it seemed like a lot of them fit in that same lane. Like the Far Eye was cut from the Licks. It's like it was almost like a family tree. Like somehow, some way, everybody was related, or at least their style was related somehow, some way.
Yeah. But Quelle Chris, if you get a chance, listen to his. I think it came out 2017. It's a long ass title, but it's called "Being You Is Great. I Wish I Could Be You More Often." And his other album that you should check out is called Innocent Country Part 2. It has a theme to it, but the dude is nice with the bars. And my last R&B is, she's out of Cali also. She just did Elzai's album, Zeitgeist, Georgia Ann Muldrow. The girl, she's a beast, man. She plays her own music. She produces.
So she produced the album for?
Yeah, she produced it.
Okay.
Yeah, she produced the whole. She plays music. She can sing her butt off. She raps. Nobody mentions her with rapping. She could spit, and she also was married to a rapper, but I don't know if they're together. They have albums out. His name is Dudley Perkins, aka D-Claim, out of Oxnard. And she's dope, man. And she did an album with Madlib called Seeds. You want to check that out? That's a great album too. She did. So Georgia Ann Muldrow is just overlooked.
All right, no doubt. Kel, who you got up left on your list?
I got my one R&B and I got one more. I'm going back to Queens for my rapper though. So Pharoah, who I think, I think same vein as everybody, most of the people I've mentioned. Everybody respects him, just not, no one talks about him though. They're always nice with the lyrics. But I think in his case, I think it's Nas. I think Nas is the similar artist, to kind of have wide-ranging topics, and Nas is the bigger artist. Even though we sort of Nas is kind of doesn't have a big personality, but he has a bigger personality than Pharoah as far as like MCs go. I think on that level. Then I think he's just a quiet dude, just kind of reserved. See him online, mess with his toys and comic books and stuff like that. So he's just not a.
Hey, Kel, they're not toys, they're action figures. Don't let you be like that. Naomi, don't mess up daddy's toys. I'm like, hey, action figures, y'all. Action figures.
My bad. Yes.
I think the other thing with Pharoah, he's a hip hop Sade, man. He dropped like every 6 years, man. You know what I mean? So, that's the problem too. And the thing is, I love this. Is why I love these conversations about why we think people don't blow up. Because I think Vern made that great point of, what's your song? And the only song Pharoah has is Simon Says, which of course it fucked him up sample wise. So, but you know, outside of Simon Says, that's about the only song in Pharoah's discography that is gonna get anybody hype like that. If you're not a Pharoah head already, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And my R&B is Joe.
Oh yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Just,
the dirty Mac guy. He's a dirty Mac. He's a dirty Macker.
To me, I can't fuck with Joe because he was that nigga who don't have no game around your way and just be like, yo, shorty, what your man don't take you to the movies? I do it. Oh, your man don't buy you no ice cream? I do it. Oh, your man don't like. To me, that's why I just could never respect Joe. He's got some banging slow jams,
but I think that's what hurts.
I can't fuck with Joe because I'm like, oh, you was that nigga growing up. Okay, you was that nigga.
But I think you're right. You don't want to. I think that's what hurts him. I think, you know, especially people. I'm not gonna mention the main R&B guy around, as you don't like to mention his name on the show.
Right, Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman. Mm-hmm. You know, he got the songs where he's not doing what Joe was talking about. So he got that. Right. That was in in his lane. So I think he just couldn't overcome that. And like you said, that stigma. Yeah, that shuts him down big time.
It's like did you see the Def Comedy Jam 25th anniversary? And Joe was sitting in the front row, and they asked him to sing the Black National Anthem, and he said that he didn't know the words. And Dave Chappelle, don't you know the other song besides "Pussy"?
Yeah, like Joe always was like Babyface, like I'll pay your rent. As soon as I get home from work, like it was just like nigga, like you fucking us regular niggas up. Like now girls want us to, you ain't gonna pay my rent. No, I'm not paying your fucking rent. Like. So yeah, that's why I was like Joe. And then I think too the whole bald head thing with Candyman at the time too. And Candyman went on to produce some of the joints for Joe too. Like Joe has the joint called More and More, that was originally supposed to be on Loveland. I like Candyman's version better, but yeah, I think that helped. That didn't help either because you had Aaron Hall, who people said R. Kelly bit Aaron Hall's dark skinned bald head, and then it was like, here comes Joe. And I guess like Gadget said, you can't have two light skinned female singers, can't have two dark skinned bald niggas singing at the same time too. And it was obvious that Candyman was winning that race. So
Joe got points for me for sampling Far Side for the
for the stutter joint. That stutter joint was hard. And that video was dope too. The video was dope too.
The video was dope.
The video was dope. The video was dope. Veg, who you got up left?
So for hip hop, I have Schoolboy Q. I think being next to Kendrick kind of overshadows him, but Schoolboy Q is fucking dope. Like he should be so much. I mean, I know based off of TDE, he gets some shine, he gets a look, but you just don't. They don't talk about him. Everybody waits for Kendrick, and Kendrick's my favorite. But Schoolboy Q, like Oxymoron, I think that was the one that really got me. Where I was like, yo, this fucking album is crazy, and it's not, a lot of people talking about it. I know some people were so on the other albums, but I thought Blank Face was dope. I even thought the last joint he did called Crash Talk.
How many albums does he have?
3 or 4.
He has 3 or 4, something like that.
He should be the flagship now, Kendrick though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should be. He should be.
So here's the thing. So Kendrick leaving Top Dog, that is TDE. So now Kendrick is no longer there.
Right.
That was his last album.
All right. So it should be Schoolboy Q, but I don't know if it will because it's like people liked him, but they just like what Kendrick did more. So sometimes when he would drop, and it's fire, you see people like it, but it just didn't endear him to them. You know what I'm saying? To the point where they anticipate his album just as much as Kendrick's.
Now, vague question: Did was the TDE crew like Kendrick's crew and they went to Top Dog, or was it like they were already there and so it was like they didn't know each other type thing?
Now they all
Different neighborhoods.
Okay.
Different neighborhoods, and he just collected the talent, and that may be the thing about Schoolboy, that he's not at home. He would never get the push at home just because he's from the one gang that don't get along with nobody. You know what I'm saying?
What gang is he from?
He from Hoover. The Hoovers. And they don't fucking have any allies at all. And they big enough where they don't need them. Right? But like they stand so much alone, like nobody from nowhere else is gonna fucking be like openly pushing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like he got fans, but I'm pretty sure all his real shit come from out of town. Cause niggas in the city ain't gonna really stand behind that, because that's pretty much the one thing you can't really stand behind if that ain't your neighborhood.
Right.
Cause it's real clear cut that one neighborhood don't give a fuck about nobody. That's why you want to never hear a song with him and Nipsey, because that's like hyenas and lions. That wouldn't even cross rap lines. They couldn't do it. You understand what I'm saying? It's that bad, and his set is that notorious. It's like,
now here's the thing. Question: Nip is a Crip. Wasn't YG a Blood?
Yeah, the Hoovers is Crip.
Crips and Bloods can do stuff together, but other people can't. Like
this gang is so fucking different that some of them, they're so big that some of them not even Crips no more. They're just their own thing. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like some of the other politics that you could play off with, like a Nip and a YG, you can't even do that with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, YG neighborhood is way over in Compton. Nipsey shit way over here. The chances of them really going to fuck with each other is slim and none. It's too far the distance to go do anything. Now, if you see somebody at a mall or something, maybe, but just to go open, I'm gonna go over here and do something, it wouldn't happen. It's more about proximity, right? But these niggas is everywhere and they don't get along with nobody. So that's why he doesn't get that hometown love that's pretty much necessary also to, you know.
Man, we have to do an F just you breaking down gang culture, man. Like, god damn, I didn't know it was that crazy out there.
It gets complicated in a lot of different ways, but it's forever changing, right? Because young people pretty much run the shit. Right. Or even
it was funny when I pulled up to LA, I came out with a red shirt on, and that was like, nigga, what the fuck? He was like, yo, it may get cool, go get a jacket. And then I came out with a blue jean jacket. He was like, nigga, what the fuck? Like, yo, what the fuck you doing? And I'm like, shit, we still doing colors? Ain't that Ice-T like fucking 1993? I'm like, nigga. Like, that's why when I got with Burn and Ray, I was like, yellow shirt there, everybody, yellow, okay? Yellow, I'm good. Like, I'm like, god damn. So, yeah, that's crazy to me that that's still like that. But, yeah, damn. All right, babe, who else you had? Because I know you had somebody else, right?
Yeah, on the R&B tip, I have Snow Allegra.
I gotta tap into her. Nate loves her. Nate just played me something from her the other day. And it was dope as shit. But yeah, Nate just put me on to her.
She's pretty dope. The first thing I heard was her first project from 2016, Don't Explain. And it kind of gave you like an Amy Winehouse vibe. And I think that's probably the reason why. But it's so dope, right? To the point where you like...
What's the name of the joint?
The first joint, Don't Explain.
Don't Explain, okay.
From 2016. It's like a cartoon cover. Her first two albums were like that. Because she had another one the next year called Fears, which had the same vibe. But even she has 4 albums, but even like her newer stuff, it's just really dope. Like, it's well written. The way she sings is perfect. To me, it's not like it's discount Amy Winehouse, because she's different, right? She has a different personality. But I randomly, like, the first time I heard someone other than me say it was JR. right? And I didn't want to say shit, right? Because I'm like, damn, I'm the only nigga listening to this album. When JR said something, I was like, yeah, like okay. I felt validated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I think she's really dope. She has a dope voice. Kill, you'll really fuck with her first album because them beats are like that hip hop vibe but R&B. And it doesn't sound dated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I'm definitely tapping in. Because whatever they played me yesterday was definitely dope. Like, she was like, Daddy, listen to this. And I was like, yo, this is dope. Who's this? She was like, Snow Allegra. And this was like literally yesterday. So yeah, that's definitely dope. That's dope. Kel, what were you about to say?
I was going to say Snow Allegra. You said, right? Allegra?
Yeah.
Yeah, Snow Allegra. Yeah. Yeah, she's dope. Gad, you got up for your last ones.
This is because he took Joe, so I'm going to go with I don't have anybody else. I had Joe and he took it. So
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I got one more. I got Guru. And Guru. Gifted Unlimited Rhymes Universal.
Oh, Guru. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think he gets his props. Just say premiere 3 times, and there you go. That's why he doesn't get his props. Now, I think it's one, he's a monotone rapper, and I know a lot of people don't like monotone rappers. I know a lot of people don't like Bahamadia. A lot of people don't like Jizza because they just stay right there. They don't get too excited. They're the same every time. His style stayed the same from like Words I Manifest up to Who Got Guns. Like, it's like from 1989 to 2001. It's just like he stayed here. And then I really think Premier did it too because, and again, for me, I'm a producer first, so my producer ears. So anytime a Gangstar album came out, I'm always listening to the beats. I can always repeat Guru's rhymes and everything like that, but it wasn't until he passed, which I'm really sad about, that I really sat back and listened to Guru first. Like, it was like, okay, I already know the beats, I already know all this, but let me really listen to Guru. And it's like, yo, even when I do my Black Thought Challenge, like, I'm like, I'll do a Guru challenge. And like, Guru has 15 solid songs where he's saying something like Just to Get a Rep, Soliloquy of Chaos, JFK to LAX. Like, he's a dope storyteller. You know, I just think he doesn't get his props just because, I mean, Yao told me, Yao said, Kill, nigga, there's 150 MCs better than fucking Guru. And I'm like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. And this nigga fucking sat there and wrote out 150 MCs. Like, this nigga said, I got time today, nigga. Like, and literally wrote out. And that's how I got put on the Fred the Godson, because I was like, Fred the Godson was like at like 60. I'm like, who the fuck is Fred the Godson? Like, he's better than Guru. Like, nigga, you just picking up niggas off the Bronx. Like, niggas that's just on the concourse or whatever. Now, I'm going on to love Fred the Godson, but yeah, like, I know people who feel like, yeah, like, yo, there's 150 rappers better than Guru. And I'm like, yo, come on, man, stop. Like, I mean, if you don't like him, I dig him. Yeah, you know, but here's the crazy thing, bro. Even without Primo, I like the first Jasmine. The first 2 Jasmine tasks was dope to me. You know what I mean? So, you know, the Bald Head Slick compilation, I wasn't really feeling that. That actually was the first CD I ever brought and tried to take back to a USB store and sell it, because I was like, yo, this shit is trash. But the Jasmine Taz joints was good for me. And here's my last one for R&B. I'm gonna catch hell for this. Summer Walker. I like Summer Walker. I do.
I like Summer Walker.
I like Summer Walker. Her album Over It, I fucking love that album. Me and they listen to that album all the time. I get why she's not a great singer. She's not, or a performer. She's of the new generation, meaning like most people are gonna be like, she can't sing, she can't take you to church. I get it. And then she's batshit crazy. Like, she's just fucking crazy. You know, you got headlines of her feeding her kids crazy shit as a newborn, and you know, the whole shit with London on the track and everything like that. But I feel like her pen game is really dope. I feel like her writing is really, really dope. Like, it took me to watch that Amy Winehouse documentary to really grasp how dope Amy Winehouse's pen was. And when she's writing about rehab, she's really fucking rapping about rehab. Like, she's really writing her life out. And I feel like That's what I love with artists. My favorite Lenny Kravitz album is Mama Said. I love when artists are talking about what's going on in their life. Even this new, the new Summer Walker album is really about breakup with her in London. It's funny because Nate was like, I like the album, but I really can't get with it because I haven't had a boyfriend break up with me yet, so I don't really know that pain. But I dig that about Summer Walker. But I know, like, most niggas are like, nah, nigga, like, she's whack, she's corny. But her album, Over It, and she has this CD called Clear. I mean, an EP called Clear. Check that out because it's all live instrumentation. It's dope. It's totally whatever you think of when you hear Summer Walker. I guarantee you, it's more in the vein of an Erykah Badu on this EP Clear with the whole live band. You could just throw it on the YouTube because they have the live joint up there too. So definitely check that out, y'all. I appreciate it, Gadget. Let them know where they can get at you, all the stuff that you're doing, Scratch Magazine, what's going on with the cooking show, what's going on with the digging shows. This man has like 8 TV shows all shooting at the same time. So, and I'm still waiting for our show, man. I need a show, Gadge. I got more niggas going to D'Alessandro's. D'Alessandro's needs to fucking cut me in as a partner. I've literally had 3 people just this week alone.
For real.
I have 3 people this week alone who have driven to Philadelphia from different cities to all go to D'Alessandro's. I need my cheesesteak show, Gadget. We got to make this happen, man.
Do they request the cheese whiz?
Yes, they. Here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing for everybody out there who does not get this joke.
No. Big, you went, right? Didn't you go?
Here's the thing. According to Gadget, in the whole city of Philadelphia, all of a sudden, nobody does cheese whiz. Why do I call bullshit on that? Because 98% of cheesesteak spots in Philly all have whiz. So somebody, I would like to think I'm that thorough of a nigga that every place keeps cheese whiz on tap just in case Kill comes home for the weekend. I don't think that's the case. So guess what? Obviously, other people like cheese whiz. It's not just me. Because if that was the case, niggas would be like, fuck, why am I ordering all these cans of cheese? Let me just stick with American and provolone. People out there like cheese whiz. I am not the only one. But yes, Gadget, I need a cheesesteak show, man. Let's make it happen. But what are you cooking up, man?
I don't know. I got a lot of stuff in the works right now, but follow me on all social media platforms at Digital Hustler. I wanted to put everybody on to a fire podcast on Spotify called Stupid Fly. They interview everybody that we've talked about tonight. They've interviewed Chubb Rock. They've interviewed.
You said it's called Stupid Fly?
Stupid Fly. Fresh Era.
All right, Stupid Fly.
They interviewed Master Ace, Mellow Man Ace, TL Al Scratch, Arabian Prince.
Wow.
So you would really like this podcast. They really go in depth.
Al Scratch?
Huh? Al Scratch. Yeah, they interview Sun Doobie, J-Ro, Fat Lip, Smooth B, Chip Fu, Young MC. It's a great podcast.
All right, dope. Who hosts it?
Craig. I can't remember. But I follow him on Twitter. His name is Craig something, but it's really in-depth podcast where you learn a lot about the artists and the groups they were in. Like they interviewed the DJ from Digital Underground. Like I didn't know he came from the Cypress Hill family. Like he learned under Muggs.
Wow.
Which
I didn't know Digital Underground had a DJ. We could just start.
It was a white boy, right? It was a white boy, right?
Yeah. No, hey, he wasn't white. He was
Italian?
No.
Nigga Tony Danza? Huh?
Who's Russian fight? He was like Ukrainian. His parents were like Ukrainian.
Oh, like your old Droog or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't even know Digital Underground had a. I thought Digital Underground was Humpty Hump, Shock G, and motherfucking Money B and Tupac. Like, I didn't know what the other 8 niggas in the group did.
I was thinking House of Pain. It's House of Pain, not
Oh, House of Pain. Okay. I remember that's DJ Lethal, right? Lethal was House of Pain's DJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's, check out that podcast. It's pretty dope.
All right, no doubt. Veg, where can they get at you, good brother?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Vegas World INC. You can check out a new song I got out, produced by DJ Rec One. It's called The Set. We got a couple of joints that we've worked on that were put out. You can listen to that at vegasworldinc.bandcamp.com. And it's also on other streaming platforms.
All right. Dope. Kel, where can I get at you, good brother?
Simple on IG at Big Kel and on Twitter at Kelvin Davis Sr.
And for everybody out there, I don't know if he's going to give up his secret spot where he gets these t-shirts from, but maybe y'all can DM him and I don't know, offer him some fucking Queen's Pizza to see if he'll tell you where he gets his spots from or whatever like that. Neltron, where can they get at you, good brother?
Twitter and IG at Neltron 8000.
All right. What up, Vern? Where can they get at you, good brother? And what you got cooking up?
What's poppin', man? What up, Vern? On all social media platforms. Idle Mind is out in stores on streaming, but Bandcamp is the better option. And I'm about to drop the follow-up to Serene Do. Sometime in September. And that's what we doing, man. We just working. Solar Dad Brothers 2, and then we working on me and your shit. It's cooking, it's simmering.
Yes, sir. And y'all already know with me, Kill 889, Twitter, IG. Like Vern said, we got out I Don't Mind right now. Me and Vegas got out Willmatic, which is an EP dedicated to his late cousin Ill Will, the Queensbridge legend. The one person I had, the actor that I had, that's name got brought up, Giancarlo Esposito. I think he's a very slept on.
I don't think he's slept on anymore.
I no more.
No more.
Maybe not with this Professor X thing.
Yeah.
Nah, everything. Breaking Bad,
Star Wars,
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, yeah.
I just never hear his name brought up. Like, you know, I'll hear Morris Chestnut before Giancarlo Esposito, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But neither.
It's the name.
I just can't say it.
We back.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Vague strikes again. The name.
Yeah.
Niggas like, yo, I ain't say that nigga name and fucking up in front of everybody.
Right, they're like,
yes, Giancarlo
and all of that. Yeah.
Right. But just for people who don't know, he's been in over 90 movies. He's been over in 92 TV shows. I mean, Trading Places. I mean, it was an extra scene, but you know, I didn't even know that was him until like years later. I got put on with School Days with Big Brother Almighty. I mean, there's no way if I scuff up my Jordans, there's no way I don't think of bugging out and do the right thing. Mo Better Blues, King of New York, Malcolm X, Usual Suspects, Waiting Exhale, TV, Godfather of Harlem, The Boys, Westwood, The Get Down, and of course The Mandalorian, of course Breaking Bad, and Somebody Called Saul. Giancarlo, and he may be up to be the first Black Professor X. So in the new X-Men reboot. So again, it just came across my timeline because I posted him as Professor X, and everybody was like, "Yo, is that shit real?" And I'm like, "Hey, he's trying to put his name out there for it." So yeah,
I think Free Right falls into that category too.
Jeffrey.
Oh
Wright.
yeah.
He's a thespian.
Very. I said, we could just do an actor show this one day. I owe Neltron a show on Mo Better Blues. We're supposed to be doing a show on Mo Better Blues. That's me and him, like one of our favorite movies ever. So I'm like, we just got to do a show for Mo Better because I love.
Signal out that big bro, and I'll be there.
Yeah. For that Mo Better Blues show. All right, y'all. Good looking out, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
They come around, but they never come close.